good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Whenever you're listening to this, welcome to the internet's most sophisticated wrestling podcast, discussing the weekly aspects of it all, right here on
The Bald Monkey Wrestling Podcast.
Listen, I think we've started, by the way. I think I quite clearly look like I don't know. If you saw the midsection of me, you would know that I'm a man who lives for the moment.
Fair enough.
Oh, live on Twitch. Hello, Twitch. Hi, how are you doing? Where the hell is Chuck at?
I don't know. He disappeared.
Let me start recording so immediately when I start editing stuff, I just get annoyed. Voice in the sky, show yourself until he gets here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He got here immediately! What just happened?
Dude,
Okay.
it's gonna be one of those days again, apparently.
Oh my god. All right. I'm just going to start recording and I'll cry later. All right.
Chris, are you keeping your thing there?
I'm not here. Don't worry about it. I am just the voice in the sky. Hello,
Of course
everyone.
you're here. Of course you're here. You know why? You know why you're here? Actually, we won't get quite into it yet, but for reasons, I need you to be here so that we can yell at you. Okay? Understood?
Understood.
Wow.
So
You get called in the office.
you are definitely here. But because this podcast / live stream is based on entrance music, I feel it incumbent upon me to start with some tragic news and to mourn the loss of something very near and dear to some people, me included, and at least one person in our chat that's here. And that is to talk about NXT for just 1 second. A long time ago, there was a theme song, and it was the dream of a theme song. It was a little bit creepy. Yes, maybe it sounded a little bit too much like Stranger Things, but it really fit the wrestler really well. And it was a wrestler who never blinked. He doesn't have eyelids. He just stares all the time. And that is Dexter Lumis. And this past NXT, WWE did the most ridiculous thing ever when they killed that theme song and they gave him a new theme song. So I would just like to have a moment of silence for the original awesome Dexter Lumis theme song. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Pour one out for the.
One for my homies.
Pour one out for the homies. Absolutely. So, gentlemen, how we doing this morning? We got a couple.
I'm alive.
JC Vega. We have JC Vega here. You know, we had to get JC Vega on because he was the one who tweeted out, and I want to say exactly what he tweeted out, but he tweeted out a song that as a kid he wanted as his entrance music, and I saw it and I was like, you know what? I've wanted to do this topic forever. Let's talk about entrance music. Let's get JC Vega in here to talk about entrance music. So, welcome to Monkeying Around. Welcome to the Bald Monkeys live stream. It is good to have you here today, sir.
Thank you for having the champion of Elevate Pro, the only one that matters. I'm excited to talk about this music topic.
Hey, here's my only issue, though. Here's my only issue, because this is what happened before we started live streaming. You made the mistake of jumping on the bandwagon with the other double stuffers. So I don't know if I have respect for you as a champion, sir.
Oh, sir, I'm a champion. Double stuff. Right. Trust me. I'm a champ. Why wouldn't I be right? I have gold. What do you have, sir?
I have an odd body because I eat too many single stuff Oreos.
You'd have a more round, proportionate body if you would eat double stuffed. Possibly, maybe.
Maybe. Is Chuck? I think Chuck's got the 1,000-yard stare, so I think he's gone.
Is he already there?
This is good.
Christopher, do me a favor. Don't be the guy in the sky. Who cares if we have 5 people? Jump on here.
Yeah, so the issue with that is Streamlabs doesn't let me turn my video back on after I've turned Streamlabs on.
Oh my gosh, you're the worst.
So
All right.
have fun editing, Big Baby Jimmy.
Okay.
Technical difficulties.
Creamy K, how are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing wonderful.
That's
Pretty
it?
excited about.
Wonderful.
Let me finish, man. I got so much shit.
Man, speak.
I know, right? Seriously. No, I'm wonderful. I'm pretty excited about this entrance music podcast today. It's definitely something that I've been thinking about for a while, and always as a kid, you hear those things that sit with you. You hear certain entrance music, and you just get like goosebumps and chills when you hear it. So this is going to be exciting today.
It's been a while since I've gotten chills. Actually, that's not true. I would say the number one ranked one for me still kind of works, even though I can't stand the fucking wrestler. All right, so I guess let's jump into it. We'll sit here. The first thing I want to talk about is I kind of want to talk about that top 3 ranking, that top 3 wrestling songs that really do it for you. And I want you, I'm not sure if you guys have them in a particular ranking, but if you do have them in a 3, 2, 1, let's start with the bottom one and leave the last one, the top one for last. And we'll just, I'll start with you, Creamy, okay?
So you want my?
I want your, I don't want your 3, 2, 1, I want your 3.
Okay, my 3 is Finn Balor's Demon entrance.
And why? Why does that theme hit you so hard, you think?
I think because it's got the mix that you have the heartbeat in the beginning, and it progressively gets quicker and quicker and quicker, and then it hits into his, I guess, normal entrance music, if you will. And the theatrics behind it is also what gets me going.
So we're talking specifically about the Demon.
Yes, yep.
So this was an interesting thing because as I was going through music last night and listening to wrestling music, and the one thing I've noticed about independent wrestling, which is absolutely wonderful, is that a lot of times when wrestlers come out, they can use like songs with really long intros, and they can kind of just sit in the back and not do anything, and just kind of like, I can tell like based on the music that they're sitting back there and they're like, okay, I'm waiting for the drop, I'm waiting for the drop, I'm waiting for the drop, and then you come out all theatrically. What is that would I be correct in that assertion, JC?
Yes, 100%. It's like getting ready to go. Like, all right, here it comes.
Yeah, and the thing that's the issue, I think, with trying to get the right music in a promotion, like a larger promotion, like a WWE or an AEW or an Impact or something like that, is it's all like time. Like we have to keep things moving. And so there's lots of songs that just kind of just jump into it, or the build is like so short and it just goes so that we can get this person out there right away. You think of, gosh, I don't want to talk about any theme that somebody has on their list. You think about, I don't know, like The Rock or something like that. I don't think any of us have The Rock's theme listed down. So, the build is just, if you smell, that's it, really a little bit of drums and then boom, right into it. Like, so really, really paced, really, really fast. But the Demons, that's an interesting one because that one isn't like that. It takes a little while to get into that theme song.
But I still think it has a hook, right? Like just like any good song, there's a hook. But except with theme songs, the hook isn't in the middle, the hook isn't the chorus, it's the opening.
Yeah.
Is that the hook? I mean, it's.
I think
I
so.
don't. I mean, it gets you excited. It's
It's an
like
initial sound, man. It grabs you.
yeah.
The breaking glass,
Okay.
the someone yelling out, like yeah, those moments of like I know who's coming.
Yeah, I'm going. Okay, I'll agree with you because the problem is
I'm gonna write that down.
the music side of my brain hears the word hook, and I define it differently from the way that you guys are using hook. So yes, the way that you guys are using hook, absolutely, I agree.
That sounds like a
Um,
single stuff Oreo argument.
I what?
You know what? Can we just forget about music and just have this double stuff, single stuff debate? Like we can go on for hours on that.
Well, that's not the topic of the podcast today, but that it will happen before the end of the stream. It will, even if I have to 1v4 all your candy asses, or double stuffed asses, I guess. In that.
Wow.
Shut up, Chuck.
The champ is always
Why don't Chuck? Why don't you have a 1,000 yard stare in your schmedium shirt? Okay.
What? I just wish that my internet would just continually work. You know, it's
You know
9
what,
o'clock. 9 o'clock in the morning, and there's not a lot of people up in my neighborhood. I already walked the dog. There's no one on. There's no reason that like I go from 1 minute having 350 megabits to 0, and it just shutting down. But anyway, enough
You know what
about my
might-
trials and tribulations.
You know, it might help doing the chuckle shuffle. That might help.
I don't even know if I have it in me this morning.
All right. Well,
He is
we'll give you
broken.
some time. Do you have? Does anybody else, JC or Chuck or Chris, or do you have any thoughts about the Finn Balor, the demon Finn Balor entrance music?
I
like
do like
it.
the build up. Like the creepiest sound effects, the demonic reverse recording voices going on in the background. I appreciate the build up before the actual music plays. I like the ambiance that it sets. But no, it's a perfect thing for that character.
Yeah, I think that's its own little genre too. Like some people are really drawn to like creepy theme music. I know I have a hard time pulling myself away from it sometimes because one that I didn't put on the list but I absolutely loved growing up was like Kane's original music. No,
I had that. The Finger 11 one,
um,
or
no,
one
the
before
original,
it.
the burn
Okay,
one,
yeah,
the
yeah,
very
yeah.
first one. Yeah, the one
That's
that was
gotta
just
be Kane.
yeah. That's gotta be Kane. Who's that with Paul Bearer?
It does have that very Halloween thing, feel to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had the Finger 11 song on my list, and I had to take it off.
Yeah.
So you know.
You know what's interesting? What's interesting about
I do.
the Finn Balor is it's not just the music. I think it's the lights, it's the production.
It's the whole
Sure.
the whole show.
Because if you listen to the music by itself, it's kind of a drink. If you, it's good, but the production, the lights, and everything that goes through it, and his just acting ability as he's crawling into the ring or carrying out a chainsaw or something crazy, that's what really makes it an amazing entrance.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
So let's rotate to somebody else. Let's go to JC Vega. JC Vega, what of the 3 songs, what would you consider to be your number 3 song?
Oh, it's hard to. That's the ones I have. Okay, I guess for this one, I'll say the NWO's music. For me, like, it's just it's this cool, like almost too cool for school kind of feel to it. For me, and it's iconic, and like everybody knows, like who's coming out with that when that music hits. It just has that level of not street vibe. What's the word I'm looking for here? Yeah, just cool. Let's go with that. It's just cool, man. How could you not like it? Like, it's got
absolutely.
it samples Jimi Hendrix in there, like a 3 different Jimi Hendrix songs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't go wrong with Jimi Hendrix being sampled.
Not at all.
It's the NWO.
I think the interesting thing about that song is, when we were listening to music, last night, and we were talking about the NWO song, me and my friend Sarah, like without the context, without knowing the NWO, when you go and listen to the theme song, I don't know that it works as well. So like she's definitely listening to it one way, and I knowing the NWO, I'm like, oh man, yeah, this,
Right? Yeah.
let's go. Like,
Ginny, why are you listening to this porno music all of a sudden? No, it's not what it is. I promise. I always loved that too, especially they like doing it like Nash and Hall always said that that's what it sounded like to them. Like I noticed watching back like '96 and they're coming out to it, they're doing those little stupid ass jigs. But yeah, I guess in that sense. But for me, like knowing the NWO and being like a mark for the New World Order, like for me, that's just chef's kiss, sir.
yeah, so you weren't very pro Sting.
No, not at all. Let me tell you
man.
this: I was probably the one guy in the world when Goldberg beat Hogan who was fucking pissed. Just sitting there watching, just like,
Golly day, you listen. It is a celebration anytime Hulk Hogan loses anything ever.
well, sure, in hindsight, maybe now, but pre racial Gawker.
No, I will listen. Let's draw the line in the sand. I'm talking pre that too. Like I can't stand Hulk. Anybody that can beat somebody with a leg drop, it's like, what is this? Like this is the worst move in the history of wrestling, possibly.
Brother, he's got quads the size of tables. Do you really think you can withstand a leg drop, sir?
Now we're going back to the worst move ever. Oh, geez.
Oh,
It's a different podcast. Different podcast.
I like it.
What do you other boys think about NWO theme song? Love it, hate it?
I like it. I mean, you, as a wrestling fan, as soon as it hits, you know what faction is coming out. And I think that for me is like one of those things, like as soon as that first note drops, I know who's walking out of that curtain, and that it makes that it's so identifiable that there's no doubt in my mind what's going to happen next.
And I think that's super important with all wrestling themes.
Yeah.
Right. that initial, because the second that music hits, you want that pop, like the person I've been waiting for is coming out.
You don't want to have the thing,
boo, screw this guy is coming out.
You don't want to have the thing that happens at like rock concerts or music concerts where like the band starts to play like the first like 5 measures of the song, and you're sitting there and you already know what it is, and you're like, yeah, and then all of a sudden everyone else in the crowd is like, oh, I know that song.
Yeah, I've been that person a few too many times. Not the second person, the first person, where I'm like, oh, you guys obviously don't listen to this band. Come on. What do you think, Creamy K?
I agree. I mean, it's an iconic song. You hear the first couple of notes and boom, you already know it's the NWO. But the thing for me is that anytime I hear it start, I have this visual that pops into my head immediately of Hogan, Nash, and Hall coming out. And Hogan's got his belt and he's like strumming it like a guitar, strutting out. That's just immediately what pops into my head. He's got the NWO on the belt. So I have that visual, and it's one of those, like, I related immediately to that.
I just wish that there was, like, instead of like it just, always going into that song the way that it does, like it would. I used to love the promos where it was like, shh, this message is brought to you by the NW. Like, I wish that, I wish that the theme song would start that way every single time too, just because that's the iconic thing that I like the most.
Funny enough, when I was making the Spotify playlist for all of us, there is a theme song on Spotify that has that as the beginning.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Love it. What do you think? Voice in the sky. Voice in the sky. Voice in the sky.
It's funny because you guys actually all kind of look around when I start talking too, which is even more hilarious to me.
We don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, I agree. Like, loved the NWO when it first came on, and it was first the big thing in WCW. What's weird to me, remembering back, I got really tired of it later on in the WCW years, where it almost was like annoying. Like when the music hit, I would be like almost getting that heel heat for it because it was just so bad to the point of it was a mess. Everybody was in the NWO. Was there anybody left that wasn't in the NWO anymore? So
But that was kind of a good thing.
I don't
Like,
know.
haven't,
I think it
haven't
towed
we
the
talked
line. I think it towed the line.
haven't we talked about that in podcasts before where I was like, it's there are times when factions get so big that they're half of the people in the promotion. And if you're setting it up as like that half versus the half, that can be kind of an interesting way of doing a storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like in the context of that, like having those many members, if you're gonna make it a separate entity, like as we were planning to do it like in a whole show, yeah. But like for me, like the core, like Paul, Nash, Hogan, Six, maybe Buff. We'll throw Buff in there.
Yeah.
But like a small group, the small core is for me is a better iteration of the NWO.
Sure.
But
So how about Voice in the Sky? What is your ranked number three? God, I don't even know how to say this properly every single time I intro it. Your songs, what's number 3? Oh,
It's just fun to watch you like squirm there.
you're lucky that you can squirm off camera. How about that?
I'm working on it. I think I might come on just to mess up with your editing.
No,
So
I got that all covered. I gotta go down again.
Yeah, no shit.
So you guys obviously know I'm a big geek when it comes to a wrestler that I love, and the Hurricane Helms is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I will geek out anytime I hear "Stand back! There's a hurricane coming through." As you know, because I did it at the Royal Rumble when I jumped up and down and held Jimmy's hand because I was so excited.
Like a little kid.
This is accurate. He was jumping up and down, losing his mind. That being said, this is the first theme song that I personally am like, well, I like the Hurricane and everything, but his song isn't that great, in my opinion.
Hey, that's okay.
But are you looking at it as a song, or are you looking at it as an
Yeah.
entrance music?
I'm like entrance music, of course.
Okay.
I mean, again, you can look at anybody's and say, well, this is passable entrance music, but I'm saying that's my problem with that theme song. It's passable entrance music. The beginning is the best part, obviously, but like, I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm going to save my argument for later, and Captain knows
Oh,
what my argument is going to be.
Don't worry. I hate
Yes, I ruined the song for him. But
You really
anyway,
did.
I think, again, it goes back to that hook, but I know that's the wrong word for it, but I'm going to call it hook for now. That punch of that first note of "Stand back," and that's why it's a great entrance song, because it gets everyone out of their seats because you know what's coming next.
Yeah.
You know what's about to happen. And to me, that's why it's always been a great entrance song for me, and I think other people would agree that love Double Stuff Oreos.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but if they agree so much with you, why wasn't the Hurricane theme on their list?
Because it was on my list, and they all knew it was going to be on my list.
It's true.
That doesn't mean anything. There was a song that was on 3 or 4 of our lists.
That is also true.
Because that is the number one song by far.
well,
And we'll get to it.
I
We'll
agree.
get to it. Don't jump the shark. But like we're just dealing with the fact that the Hurricane theme makes sense as a entrance song for a wrestler, and it works.
Yeah, all of them do. All the ones that people listed do. They're all wrestling themes.
I don't know. I don't know.
Don't know. There is an entrance theme that does not make sense on one of these guys' list. Is that what you're saying?
I am going to make a hot take on a entrance theme that has been put on the list, and we're gonna have a big discussion about it. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. All right. Who hasn't gone yet? Chuckles.
Yep.
You're third. You're third, sir.
My third, because Christopher completely ruined it, as he was talking to me the other night, is the Legion of Doom, Road Warriors. What a rush. He's completely ruined it for me. I even thought about taking it off of the list because of what he pointed out to me. It's so annoying that he even pointed it out to me that literally after the intro of what a rush, it just repeats itself over and over and over again. And to be honest with you, I'm fine with it. I'm still fine with it. I'm so annoyed that he pointed it out to me because I didn't even think about it. I never even heard it because it goes back to what we kind of touched on with Finn Balor was I loved the tag team so much, and I loved when they came out. I loved the look. I loved the intro to it, the first 3-4 seconds, that it was just so good that I didn't even really care at that point what happened after it. And yeah, it's probably the same 6 to 7, 8 measures over and over and over again, but I don't care. Sometimes, sometimes theme music is just the same thing reiterated over and over again. I mean, it doesn't have to be this epic 3-minute entrance that it's got its crescendo and its denouement and its conclusion and
Whoa, big words.
Wow.
I know, big
Fancy,
words.
man.
I don't need to be
I'm
taken
a
on
wrestling fan.
I don't need to be taken on a journey. I just want to enjoy the song and get pumped by it. And that's what that's what that song did for me, as a kid in the 80s and early 90s. So Christopher, screw you and your damn opinion.
Why don't you just throw the hurricane theme back in his face?
I mean,
it's not that. I mean, it's not that interesting either. It's pretty repetitive.
Oh yeah, that's true. Look at that.
So
There
it's
you
the
go,
same thing. He's trying to ruin one of your songs. All you got to do is it's the exact same thing. It's a really cool opening with just eh.
You're the only Hurricane fan, man.
I have a towel.
He's not the only Hurricane fan.
I have a towel.
But that would be my third.
Anybody else have any thoughts on the Road Warriors? It was also on
Steven's list.
Steven's list, absolutely. So we will mention that. We'll mention all of his songs.
Yep.
Probably don't have time to talk about all of these songs, but
no.
I guess
Badass song, man. Come on. You don't get excited when you hear that. What a rush!
Take it
I
out.
don't care if it repeats. It's fucking awesome.
Take it out. Clip it. Crop that beginning out, and then listen to the song. That's what I made Chuck do, and that's why he looks like a sad bear right now.
I'm still okay with it. You're not taking my joy away, you bastard.
He just talked himself into loving it again.
I did.
On stream.
But the guitar riff itself is just badass. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
it is.
Again, you listen to wrestling themes of a certain era, and there's really not much to them. So, I mean, depending, but there's definitely a few notable songs that we're not sitting here singing the praises of because they're kind of just. So the one that I have listed as on the list is 3 is not actually 3. My 2 is 3. So my 2 I have listed as Battle Cry by Kenny Omega, and that's his new theme song in AEW. I was surprised that I went with such a newer theme song, but I don't know if it's just because it's something to do with knowing Kenny Omega's character and knowing him as kind of even the intro can kind of feel a little video gamey in a way, and I kind of enjoy that, because knowing who he is and stuff like that. I don't know. It was almost the Kane theme. It was this close. It was this close to the original. This close. But I decided to give Kenny Omega a little love and Battle Cry. Don't know what you guys think about. Don't know what you guys think about that song.
I mean, I think it. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, JC.
No, I was just gonna say, I think it, like, even if you don't know Kenny Omega, it kind of encapsulates who Kenny Omega is, like, as a person and as a wrestler, with the whole video game nod and all that. So I think it works well. It's tremendous. I was surprised it was on your list, considering that's such a new song, but it's a great theme.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, and maybe this is, I'm guilty of what Chris did to Chuck, only I do it to myself. I go back and listen to these theme songs, and I'm like, God, this song fucking sucks. Like, it's really not that good. And I'm just like cutting through songs and just like, you know, there's a handful of like songs like, and there were some that I was. It's interesting. Okay, let me. This is sending me off on a tangent, and I want to cover it real quick.
Huh.
It's interesting when you talked about the NWO and being like so for the NWO, because one thing that I was that not a lot of people was very anti Stone Cold Steve Austin when I was a kid. I couldn't stand Stone Cold Steve Austin every single time he came out. I don't know if I was just growing up in a world where I wanted to be like an authority figure, and I'm like, he's always breaking the rules. Get him out of here. But like,
too.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, his theme song to this day, I still listen to it, and I just go, you know, I got a lot of respect for Stone Cold Steve Austin, and retrospectively, I really like him a lot, but like, not as much as, you know, I kind of like Triple H, even when he was a bad guy. I was like a big Triple H fan. Like he was pretty awesome, you know, and those interactions that he used to have with The Rock back in the day, and you talk about heels. I was always a big Kurt Angle fan, and you know, his music's pretty simple. You talk about music that just repeats and that's pretty simple. I mean, Kurt Angle, but is one of my dudes too, man. That guy was awesome. But back on track. So let's flip to it. Go back to the Creamy K. Creamy K, what is your number 2 theme song, sir?
Great segue, because you're just talking about Austin. Number 2 for me would be Austin. You hear that glass shatter. Hey, that's fine.
No,
that's
it's a great theme song. I'm sorry. I just going back to what I was talking about.
It goes back to what everyone is saying, that you hear the glass shatter and immediately you know who it is, and you know it doesn't matter if he was a heel or a good guy. As soon as you hear that, you know shit's going down. You know he's coming out. Someone's gonna get, you know, a can of whoop ass, and it's just one of those that I hear and I'm just like, yes, Stone Cold, go kick ass.
Arguably the biggest pop in WWE's history is when the glass breaks, when Mankind is getting screwed out in the middle of the ring, and then the glass breaks, and then that crowd lost their flipping minds. Like, I can still watch that video of that moment, and oh yeah, man, when the glass breaks and that crowd just like, you can barely hear anything. It's so loud. So yeah, iconic.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
mean, and that's the reason why I used a glass shattering effect, like in our intro video. Like when I, like way back in the beginning, when I was like, man, you guys need like some kind of like music to like come into. Like, it's just like boring when you're like, hey guys, how's it going? And then Chris is like, well, dude, why don't you just come up with a theme song? And I was like, okay, sounds good.
Tea for time for tea. How many fucking episodes did we go before we had an intro? It's not like we were doing it for a long time. 4 episodes. Four
5
episodes.
Hey, man, in the internet, that's a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. We used to sit at bars and talk about wrestling, and it was like, why don't we record this a couple of times? And it took like, here comes Chuck, Mr. Snooty Double Stuffer, going, these 4 episodes suck. You need intro music.
Man, I was just trying to help, and I mean, shit, look where it got me. I have like so much extra shit to do now.
Yeah. No good deed goes unpunished, Chuck.
Right?
No.
Exactly. I should have just kept my mouth shut. Anyway, I love Austin's theme. It's one of those ones again. From the second that first note hits, you know exactly what's gonna happen. It's so iconic. I dare say it's probably the most iconic. I think. I think if you were to play like 5 of the biggest like theme songs to someone that like kind of was a wrestling fan, I think they would know exactly who that was right off the bat. Next to maybe the one that people have chosen like 3 or 4 times. But I don't know. That's my take.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Anybody else?
I think we said all we can on that one. It's iconic. If you know shit's gonna go down, and raise the hell, drink beer. What?
AKA for Twitch, that's not beer. Just so you
No.
know.
Sadly, this is. I mean, not sadly. It's highball. It's organic.
Good
Well,
for you.
sponsor.
He's not maybe not be sponsored by Highball, but could be.
Hey, highball.
Could be.
I'm
could
a
be.
millennial. Sponsor me.
He's a millennial.
Oreo cookies, we'd like you to sponsor us.
Yeah, please.
Taco Bell, you need to sponsor Alex Zane.
I'll take a sponsor Taco Bell. Shit. I'll take any sponsor. Give me money. I'm a starving wrestler, man. Feed me.
Give me money. Yeah, that sounds like a millennial.
Well, speaking of wanting money, why don't you butter up another wrestler? What's your next song?
My next song is the Razor Ramon theme song. For me, it's going to be a recurring theme because obviously, it's just cool. Like the drum beat at the beginning, like the whole progression of it just sounds. It works, and it's not really like the character's not like is a Cuban drug lord, but it's not really Cuban. But it just works. It just sounds cool, and like that swagger he has when he comes out with it, gold, the vest, and all that. Like I love it. Like it's one of the theme songs I will play. It's in my workout playlist too. So like I just love the theme. It's very near and dear because Razor Ramon is one of my first visuals of wrestling as a small child. So gotta put it on my list there.
Yeah.
I love the theme song, but it's interesting because when I look back at Razor Ramon / Scott Hall, man. But again, I wasn't like you. I wasn't very pro NWO. I hated the NWO. You know, I was very like pro Sting, like kick their ass, like.
We're already seeing there's fault in your logic because you're a single stuff guy, and then you don't like the NWO, who revolutionized the business. But I will respect your opinion.
I think everybody on the podcast unanimously thought that if we actually bring wrestlers onto this podcast, me and them are going to scream at each other all the time because I'm very opinionated. So
I can tell, but
everybody can now see why Jimmy does not do any interviews because the wrestler would not be able to talk.
That's exactly.
I would have left.
it wouldn't have even gotten to Brittany like messing
on
up
purpose.
Elevate Pro.
I just nope, can't do it. You know, are you pro Brittany? Is that what it is? Are you pro Brittany, sir?
Am I pro Brittany? I mean, for the case of this argument, sure. Hi, Brittany. Very pro
like
you
too.
Whoa!
Hey, listen, I love every single one of our guests that we have on equally.
I like how he said guest. He didn't say podcast like companions.
Podcast companions.
because Chuck hates Wikipedia.
He stole his thunder.
Yeah, exactly.
I did. He did. I was out with internet issues on and off for one day, and then all of a sudden Wikipedia came in.
What do you guys think of Razor Ramon's theme song?
I like the screeching tires at the beginning. It's, like we're gonna say this the rest of the episode. It's that immediate thing you hear, and you right away know who it is. So you hear those tires screeching, and you're like, sweet, it's Razor Ramon or Scott Hall. But the one thing to go with Chris's logic is that it repeats about halfway through. So doesn't change my opinion of it. I still like it, but it's wrestling music from that era. You definitely had things that were on loop.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, hell, look at my favorite wrestler, the Ultimate Warrior. That is like a 15-second loop going constantly.
I was amazed that
Yeah.
wasn't on the list. I was like,
agree.
he likes the Ultimate Warrior so much. How did it not make the list?
I was trying to be. I was trying not to just go with what my favorite wrestler was. I was trying to go with like. Okay, fine. So my honorable mention is the Ultimate Warrior.
Good.
There
You know,
go.
comes in.
Plug it.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah. So what?
I said Dustricity. I don't know. I was just throwing in a random line there. It was a
Okay.
warriorism.
Nonsense is warriorisms.
You have a New York Jets cup? You drinking out of a New York Jets cup right now? Who is a
I saw
fan
it
of the
earlier,
New
I
York
wasn't gonna
Jets?
say anything.
Who is a fan of the New York Jets? Let's be honest.
Mike.
No, okay. You're also an Islanders fan, so you don't have very good logic there either.
Hey, sports.
Sports!
won yesterday.
They won yesterday. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I guess they're terrible, right, Jimmy?
Listen,
Jets are. I'll give you that. Islanders not. No.
Oh man.
go Devils.
As long as we all agree that the Blackhawks are going to win the Stanley Cup, that's fine.
Yeah, they got a shot. I've always been a Blackhawks fan, and even way back in the day with Ed Belfour as their goalie. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Christopher,
Music.
eye in the sky.
Now I'm an
What's your
eye?
number two?
Am I an
What's your-
eye or a voice?
Oh, eye in the sky.
Should I make a helicopter noise up here?
What is your second?
My second, so the number 2 on my list of 3, because Jimmy does a terrible job describing this, is the Heartbreak Kid Sexy Boy. Because, 1, I am an all-time fan of the Heartbreak Kid, and 2, it was just a great theme song. It was fun, especially when Sensational Sherry was the one singing it for that time being, when it wasn't the the good singer. It was Sensational Sherry doing the terrible singing with the entrance song.
Yeah.
Another one that's fully iconic.
Mhm.
You know, I
True.
golly day, but that's another wrestler that's it's interesting that I have this kind of mental block for him and how good of a wrestler he was when I was a kid, especially because I just didn't like him. I didn't like Shawn Michaels.
Well, he just played his character so perfectly, and
No, he's great.
I mean, whether it be a face, as the boyhood dream, whether it be a heel as the member of DX, or feuding with Diesel or Sid or anybody that he had a valet with at the time. I mean, Shawn just knew how to play the crowd perfectly. And then his music, again, we go back to those first few beats in the music. You knew Shawn was coming out, and you either felt heat for him because he was a bad guy at the time, or you popped like crazy and jumped out of your seat because here comes the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
It's true.
I guess I was very pro Bret the Hitman Hart.
I was about to
You
ask.
go against the grain on everybody, Jimmy, don't you?
But that's not against. Wait a second.
Well,
I
no,
love Bret the
yeah.
Hitman
I'm
Hart.
kidding,
That's
I'm
not that
kidding.
against the grain.
It was a
The-
50-50 split.
The Steve
Yeah.
Austin one was against the grain for sure. That one was just, but that was just a weird kid thing. I don't know. I was like, I'm sure if I watched.
I'll second you on that. Sorry, I keep stepping on you. My bad.
And no worries, no worries.
Everyone steps on him because he never stops talking.
Even though
This
you're
is-
not, even though you are wrong on every account, almost half the time. 60% of the time, you're wrong every time. It's Steiner math. It works out.
Math.
Does.
Math, yay.
Chuckles.
Chuckles, my second one.
What you got? What you got for us, bud?
I'm sticking with tag team wrestling,
Oh God, this one.
and I'm going with I don't care. And I'm going with another 80s tag team, and that is Demolition. I love their theme song. I just love the like back and forth of like the cool little riff it's got with like the terrible lyrics of like here comes the axe and here comes the smasher, like telling everybody who's coming to the ring to kick their ass. It's a fun theme song. And like I mean, I know like most of like my first two right here are back from the 80s. And I'm not saying that like nothing that came out later on is good because there's so much good stuff, but I mean, these were two of my favorite tag teams like as a kid, and me like being, more, into rock music, as a kid, like both of the themes just kind of fit what I enjoyed listening to and everything. So, and I mean, both the tag teams are like they're bad guys, for most of the time, like they're heels. Everybody like everybody either hates them or loves them. Like they're just it just spoke to me. It was the beginnings of me being a bad kid, and I love it.
Was it their outfits, Chuck?
Legion of Doom, hell yes. Give me some shoulder pads with some spikes, and I'm there. However, the S&M Demolition, looking on it at this point in time,
We're not talking about this point in time. We're talking about back then.
I didn't know what S&M was back then, so for me it was cool. But
Oh God, give that picture to a non-wrestling fan, and they've got some questions for you.
oh yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
hey, it's like in dodgeball when Average Joe's Gym comes out in the leather and chains and stuff, and everyone's like, what?
Do you think that's how Demolition got their outfits? That they got the wrong package in the back?
That if that is true, that would be amazing.
And they just stuck with it.
Let's just start that rumor right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Just put it on the internet. If it's on the internet, it means it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. How about this
Absolutely.
one? Vince ordered something else, and he got that. And he was like, "God damn, pal, give us the Demolition.
This'll work.
It's such good shit."
But that's my number two.
Just to throw it out there, Steven's number two, the boss's number two, was Mark Henry's "Somebody's Gonna Get It," which is, I think, a cool song. It's got a cool vibe to it.
By name, I didn't even remember it. I had to like go listen to it, and I was like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah. My number two, I went with one of those early family themes for Bray Wyatt, "Live in Fear." And what I love about this theme song is that the payoff, that pop, really was always typically that video, like the video package or the backstage, where suddenly you see the lantern and you see him go and light the lantern and like, we're here, and then the blow, and then like everybody's already popping at that point, and then the theme song is just like kind of all ambiance, like it's just like setting, it's just like it never gets too crazy, it's just like nice,
The same thing over and over again.
creepy, but that's fine.
I know.
That's most music, though.
But it's that, I mean, really, it is most music, right?
It's true.
So it's damn true. But it's just that whole creepy thing, and it just kind of like, right, it just fits the characters so well, you know? And there was an argument to be made when I was thinking about this, about like the Fiend's version of this music, which I think is really cool, but I don't know if it does it for me as much as the original. Like the original really sets the tone.
I'll agree with that. Like
Yeah.
it for me, like that original theme, especially at WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, like that was a cool like experience. It was creepy as fuck. Like the dudes playing the instruments out there with the plague mask and just the sound, like the whole, yeah, like it creates that creepy aura, like catching flies in my mouth. Like what are we talking about? Why is this creepy man speaking to me?
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, I concur. For once, with you.
Yeah,
You guys
we
are on the same
agree on
page.
something.
Whoa.
Wow.
At least single stuffs and double stuffs can come together on the opinion that mega stuff is just not meant to exist in this world. Why do mega stuffs exist? Get him out of here. Anybody else have anything to say on Bray before we move right along?
Another one where it's like not only the music, but everything else that goes along with it that makes it an amazing entrance song.
Everybody's cell phone lights on.
All the cell
lighting up
phone
the
lights
arena.
on. Yeah, and that's something I don't think if you're not there, you don't realize how crazy it is that everyone's got their cell phone light on and it's literally lit in the arena. You don't see it from home because from home it looks dark and all you see is the dots of the fireflies. But when you're in the arena and you're holding your light up, it is like all the lights are on in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the weirdest, most surreal thing to have a whole arena lit by cell phone lights. It's just odd to be in that like area where you don't understand that I know what it looks like at home, but it doesn't look like that right now because I'm in it.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. It's and you know what's interesting is that I had really never experienced it. And one of the first show that I did experience it at, I was with Chris, who had seen it before, and he's like, Wait for this, wait for this. This is wild." And it was like, whoa, the lights are on. Holy crap. Like very bright.
Yeah,
That's
it's definitely an experience.
that's when you know entrance music's working, when the crowd wants to be involved.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Um, so let's flip to our number ones. And while I was having Creamy Kramer go first, we're gonna hold off on Creamy Kramer because the problem is that of the 5 people or 6 people that responded to this, 4 of them all picked the same number one song. So we're going to hold that song off for just a second. And let's go to Mr. JC Vega. What you got for us?
My number one pick is Shinsuke Nakamura, Rising Sun. Now, I think we all said earlier, the first couple of notes, it like hooks you in, and obviously for that, especially with like the little sound wave going off, the lights are down, like violins starting slowly, just so cool. And then like it's different because like everyone else has like drums, guitar, or like rap. His just string instruments, and it creates this cool vibe. It's still kind of rockish, but like it's definitely unique, like Shinsuke Nakamura is. And for me, I feel that song is more iconic than his New Japan theme song. For me, like when I think Shinsuke, I think that music, and I think that encompasses like him and his presentation, like totally. And it's just badass to listen to, dude. Like fucking like they had Lizzie Hale like do a cover of it too. So like
Mm-hmm.
it works so well for that unique enigmatic character that is Shinsuke.
It's a different category of theme song that I don't know that we've touched one before where the crowd interaction is crazy because everybody, whether you like Shinsuke Nakamura or not, screams the notes of the song while it's going. And you so look forward. Like whenever you hit those themes where you have crowd interaction at all, like the crowd just goes crazy. You think of like how excited does everybody get when John Cena comes out? Because either you love John Cena are you're looking forward to saying John Cena sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And as everybody gets so pumped. We used to always talk about like this weird thing that would happen when Kevin Owens would come out, and that everybody would betray their feelings of Kevin Owens in like the first 2 seconds when his theme would start, because it would hit and everybody would cheer really loud, and then 2 seconds in, all those people were like, oh, wait a second, I hate Kevin Owens, boo. Boo. Like, it's so great when you have intros like that allow you to do that. Like you pop because you're ready to sing along. I think Sami Zayn's got a little bit of that. Like, oh my gosh, I want to sing the song along with his theme song. Oh yeah, I mean, and I loved that you put Shinsuke's theme on the list, because it is really good.
Yeah, and like as a performer, like shit, like you makes your job so much easier when everybody's just so into it like that. You can do whatever you want, and they'll fucking pop for it because they're so into it. Like,
shout out to Nakamura, who is named after Shinsuke Nakamura because he loves Shinsuke Nakamura so much. Hope you're doing okay, Nakamura. Your opinions are awful.
Says the single stuffed guy.
If Nick was on here, you would know what I'm talking about. I don't think any of the guys are going to dispute that.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Nakamura. I'm sorry. I just made JC fall over. He's half disappeared. But I do enjoy, as a musician, I do enjoy the orchestral feel to Nakamura's theme song. I do like the production of it. It's really it's nice to hear in the midst of like a lot of the other theme songs that are out there right now. It definitely seems more put together than like just your traditional rock song. It, to me, like the orchestral stuff that's like that kind of tells a story better sometimes than like your pure rock theme song or something like that. And that's just my opinion from like a pure musical type of standpoint. I mean, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I totally geek out for it. And I honestly could listen to the soundtrack music of the movie like at any point in time, because not only because I know the movie's like inside and out, but because just the music in and of itself, I mean, it's a story from beginning to end, and it's great, and it's nice to see that WWE did that, or I don't know, like whoever created the theme. It's nice to see that they went that way with his theme, because just like JC Vega said, it fits his character, perfectly.
And how awesome was it when he moved up from NXT and he went on SmackDown the first time, and they actually had somebody there live to basically play for him, like when he was introduced to the SmackDown roster. It was SmackDown.
Yeah, yeah.
So awesome.
When he had Elite, like, yeah, how badass is that? You have Elite England Jr., who's actually a sponsored dude by Jordan, like the Nike brand, for like as a violinist, but like having him out there to play this dude out there, he didn't do anything except just show up. Like, I mean, that's all you really need, though, right? Come on, it's Shinsuke. Even though some people don't like me here, but that's what more can you ask?
Oh, Kramer? Voice in the Sky? Any opinions?
I don't think I have anything that hasn't already been said. The crowd interaction for him is by far, for me, the best part of it. Whether you like him or not, you sing. So.
Well, I have a kind of a tidbit about this, because originally Bobby Roode's theme song, which is Glorious, which we all love, which is another fun one, right?
That's
That-
my fourth runner-up.
That was originally written for Shinsuke Nakamura.
Huh.
And Shinsuke passed on it. And that's why we ended up with Shinsuke getting his theme song and Bobby getting Glorious.
Interesting.
I think Glorious fits Bobby Roode way, way better.
Right.
Yes.
I can't picture Shinsuke coming out to that. Who not to ruin possible job prospects from the future, but who in the office was like, that's the one for Shinsuke.
Yeah.
We got to play it for him.
Jimmy, why don't you ask that question? That way we protect JC a little bit. Jimmy, you ask it.
Keep the heat off me, brother.
The question well, not a question, but the plug that I feel like I need to make every single time though I hear the name Bobby Roode is, can I get some beer money? I want beer money back. I love that tag team. Bring it back. Bring it back. I know, not on the same promotions, but
Okay.
Fun little fact about that. I did like how when NXT came to New Orleans, the entire Bobby Roode match was the entire crowd just yelling beer money throughout the whole thing. And he was like, I appreciate it, but I'm trying to beat this guy up and I'm bad. It's like, no, we want beer money. He's like, James is not even here, guys.
So before we get to the creme de la creme, we got one more to go. Captain Chuckles,
One more.
what you got for us? What's your number one theme?
My number one is Brock Lesnar. The next big thing. I love the boom, boom, ba-dum, boom, 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 ba-dum, but like that just gets me going. Like no matter what. I mean, I have absolutely loved Brock Lesnar. I've absolutely hated Brock Lesnar. And even when I hated Brock Lesnar, I loved his theme song and I loved hearing it every time it came on because I could just like picture just breaking through anything as soon as that like first like 4 beats is done. Like you could break through a brick wall, you could break through glass, you could break through a wooden table, you could break through granite. Like that's just what it like gives me. It's just like so powerful that's just like brr, kick your ass, man. Get out of here.
Hey Chuck,
What?
what instrument did you play?
I played a number of different instruments, Mr. Eye in the Sky, voice in the sky, Mr. Christopher. But for all of you in lovely land to know, I am an almost 6-foot gentleman with a big beard, a bald head. I am roughly 300 pounds. Bring it. And I played the flute and the piccolo to start off with. Yes, the smallest instrument and a more female played instrument in non-professional arenas. But yeah, I did that.
Well, to join you in that boat, I, in high school, little outcast JC, played clarinet for like a year. So
Wow.
I feel your pain in the woodwind section, how I got smart and played trumpet later. So
yeah,
I
but I also do
Jimmy.
play. I also do play percussion. I play drums. I can play trumpet. I can play
Deflect.
tuba.
Deflect.
I can play. I
Deflection.
can play a number
Deflect.
of different things.
Tuba. Oh, I want to play tuba so well. God, this big ass tuba.
Well,
Yeah.
what's
Hey.
really funny? What's really funny is I played the flute and the piccolo, and Creamy Kramer over here, who's like all of 5'4",
Oh, tell me he played
on
the
a
tuba.
good day, played the tuba.
Yeah.
Not only did I play the tuba, I also played the sousaphone, which is the really big one that you see in marching bands.
oh shit.
Hell yeah, man.
Bigger than him, probably.
Yes, legitimately.
I'm
Yeah.
visualizing that. Now I'm
Absolutely.
having-
At that point, yeah.
Now I'm
It
having-
was 2 Creamy Kramers. That's how big it was.
God, all this talk about band having me PTSD flashbacks of high school and marching, and
Oh man, when
I'm so much
Mike,
cooler than that, guys.
when Mike put the sousaphone on, he became Mecha Kramer because he was two Kramers.
It's true. Yeah, JC, just so you're aware, I am a unit of measurement. So we base things on how big they are, or how small, rather, based off of how many creamy Kramers it would take to fill something. So just so you're aware. So you
You can
can
also rate pay-per-views that way too.
Yeah.
So out of
True.
10 creamy Kramers, what like so the Brock Lesnar theme song, like out of 10 creamy Kramers, how many creamy Kramers would you give it?
I'll give it a 10 cream Kramers.
And fun fact, just so you know, only one creamy Kramer fits into a couch.
True story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another little
Yeah,
fun tidbit. On trumpet, I know how to play Push It for like Salt and Pepper. So funny to play. It's even funnier in high school when like your teacher is like really angry and she's like red in the face, and all of a sudden you hear in the background do 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 do, and she's like, JC. I'm like, bro, I'm lightening the mood.
I'm practicing here. I'm practicing my notes.
Didn't even play the song for a band, but like, oh.
I was a trombonist in band. What did you play? Eye in the Sky. Did you play anything in band, or were you a non-band person?
I was percussion, and then I was trombone. And the only reason I played trombone is because it's very easy to copy first trombone when you're second trombone, because you just put the thing in the same position the person next to you.
Problem was I was first trombone, so I was doing that for all the people that were playing trombone.
Yeah,
with me.
I was just copying you. I didn't learn how to read music ever. I just copied whatever the person next to me was doing.
You're a cheater.
Oh my god.
Or smarter.
Or smart, yeah.
We got a French horn in the chat. Somebody played French horn in the chat.
Woohoo!
Nice.
French horn.
French horn. Ooh.
I like the French horn.
And fun tidbit about Twitch, apparently command push it is a bad word and got blurred out in the commands for Twitch. So while you can play it on trumpet, you can't type it into a Twitch
That's
chat.
because when you put it all together as push it looks like PU shit.
There you go.
That's why.
You have a dirty
There
mind.
we go.
I mean,
Dirty
I literally like have the chat up and I looked over and I said, why did he just say shit? And I'm like, oh, push it. Oh, never mind. So that gets us to the creme de la creme here. The song that four of us picked. The boss picked it, Creamy Kramer picked it, Christopher picked it, and I picked it as their number one ranked wrestling theme song of all time. And I want to emphasize, I do not like this wrestler at all. But Hulk Hogan has the most iconic, greatest theme song of all time. Can I get a hallelujah?
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
I'm interested to know what the people who didn't put it on their list think about it, though.
I mean, as a child who was at the altar of Hulkamania, I loved it, but it's iconic, dude. Like, you know who's coming out when like that hit, when those first notes are hit. He's a real American, damn it. Even though he wore red and yellow, which I don't understand why he was a real American and wore red and yellow, but it's a great song. It gets you jacked up, man.
I think it gets you jacked up. I think it gets you jacked up too as an American. Like as a wrestling watching American. Like when it gets to that chorus and I am a real American, I like feel it like extra hard. I'm like, yes, I'm a real American too, and I'm going to enjoy singing this song with the other real Americans. Just, you know, let's
you tear your shirt.
Let's not use that song for political gain at all, or else I'll stop liking it though. So
yeah. I did not. I was a fan of Hulk Hogan when I was a little kid. I had the yellow Hulkamania shirt, you know, with the rips in the back and stuff. And at one point, I may or may not have, when I got a little bit older, ripped it in half to be just like Hulk Hogan. But it did not. It is iconic. I wholeheartedly agree. It is probably the most iconic of all wrestling themes, but it's not one of my favorites, and that's why it didn't make my list. If we were talking strictly three most iconic, I would have had it in there.
Well, yeah, because it would have been
Yeah,
Steve Austin, Hulk, and I don't know who number 3 would be.
yeah.
Virgil.
Right.
Give me Virgil. Come
Yep,
on.
definitely Virgil. Yeah, you got it.
But what
Delivered.
about all the different versions that we had of Real American? Because you had the original one, then you had the one that started out like really faintly in the back, where like the vocal was like, and then like it started to like slowly go into the music after that. Like I literally think there was at least like 4 different like iterations of Real American that they've played through the years.
I like the OG version. The song as Rick Derringer recorded it, I think is the most perfect version of the song. Even though it was chopped up or started abruptly anyway. Like I almost think it would that song as it was recorded would almost have been more effective as Hogan's theme song, because it could be like, it could do the thing where it starts low and that gets the crowd pumped up. So by the time it's a bop, 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 like, and he's coming out, like everybody's ready to see the Hulkster. Everybody's ready to eat at Pasta Mania. Yeah. Yeah, brother. Go to Pasta Mania. Sorry, that sounded more like Macho Man, actually. Not good at differentiating.
Do you want to make your Pasta Mania pitch to Hulk Hogan, since we know he's watching? So you want to make your pitch to get the Pasta Mania menu?
Hulk Hogan, what I really want for you to do is I want like one of those old menus that was in the Mall of America that had the Pasta Mania, like pictures of the dishes and like the menu and stuff. Like I want those, and I want to frame them, and I want to put them on my wall. Help me do that. Help make that happen for me.
Make it happen, Hulk. Come on.
I'm sorry that I don't like you. I'm sorry. And I literally want nothing to do with you except for this Pasta Mania thing. I really, it would be great. It would be the piece of what is behind me.
You should send him an invite to a pasta dinner if he can bring you the menu.
Who's really good at cooking pasta? Are you good at cooking pasta, Chuck?
Yeah, I can cook for the pasta.
Okay.
I would
Hulk.
pay.
Listen, Hulk.
I would
Chuck.
pay to see that. Jimmy on one side of the table and Hulk Hogan on the other side of the table having pasta together.
In just silence.
Yes, pretty much.
With Eric Bischoff in the middle.
Halfway through the meal, I just look over. You know the leg drop's bullshit, don't you?
Wait,
can
does
you
that-
pass the Parmesan cheese?
Yeah. Please pass the parm.
But you realize, though, as you invite Hogan for this pasta dinner, it's not only Eric Bischoff, it's the Nasty Boys, it's Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and maybe somebody else who are all there for this pasta dinner.
I hope you're ready to make a lot of pasta chuckles.
I'm ready. I got the pans and the pots for the pasta.
Got the pans and the pots. What about the rest of you? The rest of you that chose this song. Let's hear it. Let's hear what you think.
Oh.
I mean, come on. There's nothing better than Real American. I challenge anyone out there to play Real American and not get goosebumps. Not somehow have the hair on your arm stand up because you know what's happening. You know what's about
At
to
my
happen.
house, I could do it 10 times out of 10. In an arena, it would never happen.
Yeah.
It's impossible in an arena, but it's also impossible watching on TV. If you're watching the match. Now, if you're playing the music by itself, okay, fine. But I challenge you to go back and watch when Hulk Hogan comes out to tag with Edge for the tag team titles on SmackDown, and that music hits, and the crowd goes crazy. And that was probably the latest they played that music where the pop was that strong still, like the first time you ever heard it.
Yeah.
So I love that music. I'm not a fan of the wrestler. I am a fan of the music. So the tidbit that JC brought up, because why is it yellow and red? I mean, great question, right? He's the real American, yet he wears McDonald's colors. And
Dude,
and,
that's subtle marketing that I did not put together.
and there it is. Now,
Arguably communist colors.
so there's a couple of tidbits I found about that. He actually credits
Christopedia.
Macho Man Randy Savage's father, Angelo Poffo, and he says that he saw him in those color combinations, and that was one of the reasons why he picked yellow trunks. And there actually is a throw to the marketing of McDonald's that he wears yellow and red because it popped on screen, and it was that just look on screen that popped off the screen rather than, I guess, white trunks, kind of like Thunder Lips, where he just wore white trunks, which was kind of flat. So
Everybody's so addicted to McDonald's that color combo just
Dude.
makes you go.
at that time,
Yeah.
in the 80s and 90s, yeah, heck yeah, McDonald's was the shit.
They ruled the world.
Yeah.
Just like Hulkamania.
So let's pivot a little bit now because
Pivot.
because when you were a young child, or you don't have to be too young, but like when you were in your younger years and you're listening and to this intro music as you're watching wrestling, were there any songs that maybe you heard on the radio, or maybe it could even be a theme that a wrestler had that you like truly wanted as your theme music when you were a kid? Anybody could go. Nobody too fast though.
We're all like,
I was waiting because I was like, I usually stepping on everybody, so I'm like, I'm gonna lay it back. But I will. The champ of Elevate Pro will go. I'll go with my second pick for that. As a child, or as a teenager, I wanted Man in the Box by Alice in Chains. Now this is pre-knowing that ECW existed and Tommy Dreamer used it. But if Tommy ever wants to have a match about who gets the right to have Man in the Box, even if I'm not going to use it, I just want to take it away from him just so I can. That was the song, though.
Oh yeah, and I was, but again, I don't think that that's such a bad thing. Like, who cares if he used it? But that song is, when I was listening to it again, it's like, this is a great wrestling theme song.
Definitely.
It really is. It really works. And there were definitely songs that I listened to that, as I went through the list, where it was like, maybe half of the songs work and half of them didn't, but that's just the way that I've trained myself of what is a wrestling theme song. Like it has a certain formula to it.
Yeah.
And I think Man in the Box definitely ticks that. And I will pivot off of your Man in the Box to one of mine, which is also an Alice in Chains song, which is the song Wood. And that song, I think it kind of has a feel similar to Live in Fear, the Bray Wyatt song, and that it takes it a while before it ever gets too crazy, but it has kind of like that brooding kind of like lower, like kind of feel to it, but enough of like the bass pushing it along that it feels like intro music.
It's definitely, Wood's definitely a song that, like a dark character would definitely, it would fit with one of those. But like Man in the Box, like you said, like first of all, for the first few notes, if I can speak, it's still early for me. The first few notes are identifiable, and like it's badass. Like, who wouldn't be cool coming out to that?
I mean,
Virgil.
I mean, no.
Damn you, Virgil.
I think
Thanks, Joe.
everybody.
I
Eugene.
don't know why I picked on Virgil today, though. But Virgil.
Let's have somebody else hit me up with a theme song. Chuck Kramer, Voice in the Sky.
Well, I'm sure none of you heard my theme song before.
I listened to it for the first time last night.
I'm
Ever.
I'm sure. I'm
Same.
sure. I was a big, like 80s hair metalish guy. I mean, two of my favorite bands from the 80s are Def Leppard and Whitesnake, who are both still rocking strong now. I love it. But another random band who were pretty popular was White Lion. And on a musical stance, I don't think they get a lot of the credit that they should for some of the players that they had in the band. But anyway, they had an 8-minute epic called Lights and Thunder, and it has nothing to do with the lyrics to it. And like when I was a kid, I would clip the beginning on like cassette tape, like record it, jump away from like the lyrics, and then jump to like the guitar solo towards the end. But there's just something about the beginning. It's just doom, doom, doom. It's like a heartbeat, and then it goes right into, you know, the guitar part in the back and everything, and then it's darkish to start, and then like as the rest of the band and the guitar starts to come in, it totally like goes from like almost like a dark theme song to like, oh, like this could be a good guy here, like after it. So it just the, like I talked about before, like the ride that you go on when you listen to music, like it starts you off at one point, and then like as the guitar ramps up, it brings you to a whole different spot. And I could picture myself like as a kid coming out at the beginning when it's like dark and brooding, or like waiting till that like ripping guitar part came in, and like coming out there and like being like ultra energetic, like let's get it going, like almost like Ultimate Warrior type ish.
Yeah.
So
Some white meat baby face are going on here.
yeah, so that is my theme song. And if you haven't listened to it and you're a fan of rock music, go check out White Lion, Lights and Thunder, from the album Main Attraction.
What's interesting is the way that Chuck described the ride you take on that song is exactly what I felt and I wrote down. So I had this great intro, and I could see the beginning part, this like really dark, ominous, beast of a person coming out, and then later when the guitar hits, it's like a young Sting. So you go from this dark, evil person to this poppy, vibrant, colored guy with makeup on, and it's definitely two different songs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was your kid theme song like as a kid? What was your intro, Creamy Kramer?
Mine would have been Hell's Bells by
I wake up to
AC/DC.
this song every morning.
I
kid you not.
Is Kramer singing it to you every morning?
Thankfully, no.
Yeah, no, that's never a good time when I'm singing. There's a reason why I only sing when I'm in an arena, because everybody else and the singer is singing over me. It's not a good time. But anyways, for me, Hell's Bells, it's probably AC/DC is one of my favorite bands of all time. They're my top 5. Seen them live a bunch of times, and it's probably one of the greatest live shows you'll ever see. But Hell's Bells, you get that the bell in the beginning, the gong, the dong, dong, and then it hits into the guitar. I just think,
Nothing.
no, it's the sound. I know it's not a gong. Shut up, piccolo player. You hear the bell. All right, Chuck, what's the right word for it? The bell chiming?
There you go. That's
bell
better
ringing.
than gong.
All right.
You can see that we all really like each other on this podcast.
We're actually really good friends with everybody except for Jimmy. Nobody likes Jimmy.
Jimmy's not my friend.
But yeah, you go from that bell sound, Chuck, to this really cool slow build guitar. And I mean, for me, that's it. You have the slow intro, that identifiable boom, and then the guitar. I just think that's a great entrance music and one of my favorite songs.
Oh, voice in the sky. What is your intro music?
I haven't decided if I want to just mess with everybody or actually, do the actual pick I had, but no,
You're messing with people later. Just do it. Do this one now.
Now, okay. All right. Make them wait for it. Yeah.
No, No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne. The opening to that song, there's just like, we've talked about slow builds and how those even a wrestler waiting behind the curtains for a while, right? And that's really what I feel when I feel this song. It's like getting pumped behind that curtain, and it's just getting ready. It's getting ready. It's getting ready, and you finally just come out when that dun 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 dun, and then just hits the curtain, and you can march out to that song. I always thought that would be a cool entrance song. That was actually the song I would play. Weird story. When I was working as a bar back in Savannah and the bar would close, I'd be back behind in the kitchen and I would pop through the door and they would play the music on the jukebox for me. And I would pop through the door as I would come out with my mop to mop the floor.
That's fantastic
That
on
is
so many
tremendous.
levels.
So yeah, that was my entrance music onto the mopping floor when I was a bar back.
And it makes me sad that Sorry Charlie's is no more.
Yes, shout out to Sorry Charlie's.
How about shout out to? I gotta say shout out to the boss, who had one of the more interesting picks for what his kids' theme song. It's "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen, and I was listening to this song, thinking to myself, I don't know if this song works, but I love it. I think it's very interesting as a wrestling theme song, especially if you just let it play like the beginning, like you let it just go really slow and you don't come out again. It may not work on a big promotion, but as an independent wrestler, just sit in the back and wait, just wait.
Oh, definitely on an indie show, like maybe a fest wrestling or something like that. That would definitely work. Yeah, just to make the build.
Mm-hmm. So I really, really love that pick. Boss, very, very good pick. Very fun pick.
Can I drop my second pick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this is the one I think, I know sparked this discussion for the day. My other pick, if I were to have interest music, and this was me in my 9-year-old child lens, was Crisscross's Jump. Now, even there we go. I hear it. I'm into it now. Even as an adult, if you were to if in that lens, if you wanted to feel like a throwback to a '90s kind of character, that would be a perfect song. It's energetic. You can use it as a babyface, would definitely work because the crowd would just want to get into it. Like, who wouldn't?
You have to wear rip-off jeans backwards though, as you walk to the ring.
Too. Right.
Yes.
So and I like the beat of it too. Just obviously lyrics aside because it's children, but no, that was as a child thought that was the coolest thing as a on the lowest level of hip hop and knowledge of rap music. That to me, it's a fun song. And for an ironic indie show where everyone is in on the gag, that would be a tremendous entrance.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I think I might. You know what? I might have a character change for one show, or maybe for a promotion, and come out to that. Maybe. I don't know. We'll think about it.
I think that sounds like a spectacular idea.
Yeah.
So like you, I also had kind of an honorable mention second pick, and it was an awful song. This song, it's not an awful song, but it does not work as a wrestling intro. I'm aware for any of you who actually did the research and listened to it. But when I was a kid, one of the first albums I ever bought with money that I had earned from doing chores or something like that was Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. And of all the songs I could have picked, I picked Night Train.
Love it.
And like for me, the intro, I don't know that the intro really works, but when he starts singing, he's like, well, I'm a West Coast strutting. One bad mother got a rattlesnake suitcase under my arm. I'm like, how is that? That would be awesome as coming out to that, you know? I mean, it just sets the tone. I can kind of see like the kick-ass, like, I'm just gonna come out and beat the shit out of you kind of maybe Southern feeling wrestler that would come out to a theme like that. Like, yeah.
I was gonna say I totally see like some dude from like South Mississippi with a mullet. Like, I'm just here, whoop ass.
Yeah.
I love God and country, and I'm gonna beat this terrorist's ass. Like, that popped in my head. I was like, that would work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but that's golly day, man. I love that song. Love that song.
It is a good song. The whole album's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Appetite for Destruction. Listen to it today on some streaming site. Anyone really?
Spotify.
Right, YouTube. Yeah, you
Apple,
probably find all the songs on YouTube.
yeah.
Spotify.
Why, you know? Wait till after this podcast, though. Okay.
Yeah. Don't leave right now.
Don't leave. The champ is here.
Don't disrespect JC.
Don't, like, I mean, I'm sure Brittany's not watching because why would she do anything to support the champion of Elevate Pro? But I'm here to have a good time, so I'm gonna relax. We're not gonna be angry this day. It's a good day. It's a good morning. I've had my highball. I'm here talking to you, gentlemen. Even though Jimmy is like second on my list of people I dislike next to Brittany.
Oh no! Somebody in the chat just called me Jimmy Grimes. Don't compare me to Cameron Grimes.
Oh man.
Cameron Grimes.
Oh wow.
Love to hate that character. I don't have that much chest hair, let's be honest.
Or head hair. So let's throw it to the chat. We have a couple of interesting songs that they actually, yes, the voice in the sky is here again. Points of Authority by Linkin Park.
Oh my god, that's such a great song.
That's one that's brought up by the chat.
I like that one.
Domination by Pantera.
Oh, another great song.
Yep.
About the Pantera.
I thought you were about to hate it because like the look on your face and like the tone of your voice was like, oh, I'm good all over this one.
Hell no. I mean, to be honest, if I could have picked another song, it totally would have been fucking Hostile. Just because, I mean, to walk out to that song would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Yesterday Don't Mean Shit is another one that was brought up in the chat.
Sure.
That's a good
song. Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. Another one. Let's see. And then I think this is a question for JC. JC, how reasonable is it to be able to wear a backwards singlet while coming out to Jump Jump?
I mean, considering those things are pretty snug, that might be a little. Might not want to do that, but.
Okay. Okay. I think we're all caught up on the chat.
It's an idea.
Thank you, chat.
It's an idea.
So
Probably
let's make this next part really rapid fire. So there are songs that exist, that we've all thought about that should be wrestling themes that aren't. But before we all start going rapid fire, I think it's important that I spotlight somebody's list and have him say all of the songs that he said, and that would be the Voice in the Sky. Voice in the Sky. Can you tell us the songs that you put on your list that you thought should be wrestling theme songs?
Okay, and I'm going to go backwards on my list because I think
you're going to go backwards?
He's going to go backwards.
No,
backwards.
No, I mean like from bottom to top. No, from bottom to top. That's all.
I know, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I'm gonna preface this with I've been watching a lot of independent wrestling, a lot, and I love it. I love independent wrestling. I love what they're doing. I love the vibe that independent wrestling puts in an arena, in a venue, and I think a lot of that's important with the music they play when they come in. And I love heels. Heels are great. I mean, who doesn't love a good heel?
Sure.
So I'm gonna go with my third. Oh boy, my third song would be "Build Me Up, Buttercup" by the Foundations, because I just think that would troll the crowd so great, and it'd be so ridiculous coming into that song.
It's
See,
so
I-
bad
I
though.
can-
It's not even a troll.
I can see Christopher. If you ever want to be an independent wrestler, I'm pretty sure I could hook you up with a marching band that would walk you out to that song as you.
And how
ring.
badass would it be for the ultimate heel to come out to a marching band playing "Build Me Up, Buttercup"?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Any thoughts? Yeah, please. Please, any thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I was surprised. I'm gonna say, like, of all the things of a list, like everyone's picked like metal or rap or sort of thing, and I hear that on the list, and I'm just like, that's
I
gonna
legit
get a
thought he
reaction
was
for
trolling.
sure.
What did you have the same reaction that I had when I listened to it, where you're like, well, I already know this song, but I'm just gonna go ahead and listen to it again, and I'm listening to it and I'm like, yeah, no, this doesn't work at all. This doesn't work in any way possible. Not even like in a funny, ironic type of way.
I never even heard the song until I heard it yesterday. I'm sorry. I know.
Whoa,
I know,
whoa,
look at your face.
Wait. Have you never seen There's Something About Mary? With Ben Stiller
If I
and.
have, I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
Sorry. But
He's too busy kicking asses, man.
I-
He doesn't have time
yeah.
to.
no,
I
I'm
agree.
dismantling Elevate Pro. I'm just all over the place, man. So much to do, so little time. Tell me about Mary. Like, when did that come out?
9.
A while ago.
I fucking rest my case.
Oh man. Okay, continue on, Christopher.
Number 2 on my should be theme list going backwards is Blue Suede, "Hooked on a Feeling." I mean, is there much else to say? I mean,
There's plenty to say. It doesn't work. You'd have to chop the. First of all, you'd have to cut the song up so much, and second of all, there's something, and this is just a hot take, and I don't know why, but
You're full of them.
there's something annoying to me about some of these songs that got popular more recently when they were on Guardians of the Galaxy, and like all of a sudden you're starting to hear people play them all the time. It's like, this song's been around for like years and years and years, right? But as a wrestling song, it's like it's close. Like it starts up and like ooga chaka, ooga 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 chaka, like, and I'm like, that could work. But then the beginning of it, like, it just keeps going. Why are you singing? Why are you singing right now?
why are you always singing?
Yeah. Everybody can sing.
Because I have the hall pass to sing anytime I want to. It's my show. Monkeying around.
But I do feel like there is somebody there would be some douche who would use that and be like, oh, wrestling is fun, it's for everyone. Like, somebody would use that in the most ironical of ways, and everyone would somehow love it because of that.
I would love it. I would love
knowing the group think how that works, there would be that guy who would do it.
Mhm.
And his name is fucking Virgil. No.
Always comes back to Virgil.
All right, well, let's get to the top of the list. The top of the list, and I think you will actually love this one, everyone. Right said Fred, "I'm too sexy."
Absolutely works, 100%.
I'm on board.
As chat, you are correct. It's a fucking troll list. It's a troll.
Yeah.
So yes, you have been trolled. And by the way, I saw this troll list and I thought, I didn't think to put a troll song in, but I tried to come up with like a good song that trolls too. So we'll talk about this and then I'll drop mine out for you. What my troll intro is.
It's so funny. Like, you say it's a troll list, and it is, but I'm sitting here thinking, okay, as the wrestler in me is like, there's some way I could probably make this work. There's the character for this somehow.
Yep. And that's the trick, right, JC? It's like,
Yeah.
don't be like everybody else. Be something different, be something new. And honestly, as much as I'm trolling everyone with this list, I would love to see a wrestler try and use any one of these three.
I would love to see Christopher try to use this as a wrestling theme. Why don't you hop in the ring and use one of them as your intros?
There you go.
Well, if I ever hop in the ring, I promise you I will use I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred.
No. You're gonna use Build Me Up Buttercup.
Whatever. I'm hopping in the ring, so until you get your fat ass in the ring, I'm one step ahead of you.
Oh man.
Whoa!
And
I think I've triggered Christopher, who was trying to trigger us, by the way.
I know, right?
I've gotten the better of him.
And if
Never.
you watched
Never.
the Twitch stream last week, or you watched the podcast, there was a GIF that was created called the Chuckle Shuffle, never to be replicated or duplicated ever again, but it is out there. And
You gotta give the people what they want, man.
maybe we'll throw it up on. I don't know. Has anybody thrown it up on Twitter? No, we just did it in our chat.
I did it as a response on Twitter. Yes.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
out there.
So
But,
so it's on. I think it's on something that JC's on. I had responded to something.
Oh yeah, maybe. But I took the GIF that Jimmy created, and I added some music to it to make a very short 5-second video of the new dance hit of a 1.5 times sped up I'm Too Sexy to me doing the Chuckle Shuffle.
That would be the entrance dance too for that.
There you go. See, and if we had a Patreon, people could pay to see me do stupid shit.
Oh, you should set it up. That should be the reward. I'm setting. The champ decrees it.
$1 monthly, you get to watch Chuck dance.
So
That's
So-
worth it.
So when I was going through music and I was like, okay, I can find something that is a little trolly but maybe still works. And what I came up with was Rome by the B-52s. And I don't know if you guys can remember the song off the top of your heads, but like it just like at the very beginning, it's like really silent and like I hear a wind, and it just like goes until it builds to the boom, 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 boom. And I think that would work spectacularly actually as a wrestling song. I implore you, if you can't think of it off the top of your head, to listen to it after the podcast and then get back to me and tell me what you think.
Gosh. Oh, you know what? Actually, I thought of something. Not really a troll. I guess it could be a troll song. But how funny would it be if you had like the most masculine, like I'm a beefy badass, but they come out to Fantasy by Mariah Carey,
Oh,
but they have all the mannerisms of like a tough guy, like yeah.
like I like this music.
Oh, like, it would be hysterical.
I mean, it's a good argument, and I guess the problem though is me telling you that that's a good argument. I have to kind of bend the knee to the voice in the sky and say that you can then make anything a theme song for anything. Really,
Truth.
Hard enough.
our truth.
Or truth.
So let's go. So now that we've got a little bit more open forum here, we can throw out a few songs. So like The Boss, he put Down with the Sickness by Disturbed. Makes sense to me. Again, I think that follows normal like wrestling strong song structure, and I think that's what a lot of us did with some of these. I wanted to point out one of your songs though, JC.
Okay.
I wanted to point out, because I was listening to them, and the one that I listened to that I was just like, I am digging the shit out of this song for a wrestling theme, was Rebel Girl by Bikini Kill. That song was great.
It is. It's a great song, and like I have this in my head. Like I would like a prominent female grungy alternative rock punk rock chick like to be like have that as her theme, counterculture everything that like is what a female wrestler is, like the whole stereotypical sexy model type deal. And that'd be a badass song for like somebody like that to use.
Definitely agree.
And I love Bikini Kill. Like Bikini Kill is a great band.
Yeah, I really found that in these later years of my life that I really started to dig chick rock. Like there was something about like that kind of genre of like, female led vocal, kind of like dirty, like punk
Yeah,
rock. It sounds
the Riot Girl
good.
scene is
Yeah.
phenomenal. Like, but yeah, like that was I was thinking about that. I was like, this would be a perfect theme for that kind of character, and like hopefully maybe someone comes along like that and has like a big influence. I would, and like maybe it's not like good fair to put them in that shoe, but I would like to see a female version of CM Punk type of archetype or character
Sure.
to have like a big influence and positive spin and use that. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I think of all the songs that people listed, I think that was the one that I didn't really know that, but really like hit home the most for me. I was like, wow, this song is great.
yeah. And
Um,
I like going out of the box. Like for me, especially when I was choosing my theme song, like it's like, all right, what's something that's like different from everybody else? And for me, that
yeah,
kind of fits in that box.
I didn't think too far out of the box at all.
Neither did I.
Yeah. Uh, me and Kramer have a song in common that we picked for what isn't a theme song but should be a theme song. And I will die on this hill that this is the best song that was literally made for pro wrestling and is not being used for pro wrestling, and that is "Destroy Everything" by Hatebreed.
Yeah. It would have been on my list too, but I knew one of you or both of you were gonna pick it. So
You should have put it on your list just so there was like literally when three of us are saying it, I think it means like listen, the breakdown of this song, what makes it so good is you've got the initial chord, and that chord is the cue to the crowd, like I know
who's
who
coming
this
out?
is,
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose my mind. And then it gets into the bass drum, which is kind of like the build, like, oh, I'm walking out, and everybody's reacting then to me walking out. Everybody's already, getting psyched up. And so by the time you get to the point where they're saying destroy everything, the crowd is like ready to sing it with the wrestler.
Yeah.
And not to mention, destroy everything is just a good thematic. It's just good thematically for some wrestler that's going to go out there and
Right.
kick somebody's ass, unless it's like somebody that's dressed up in like a suit and tie and is looking kind of nerdy or something, and we're trying to go ironic with it.
Even then, they destroy everything.
I don't know. What did you guys? I mean, I know, obviously I know that Kramer knows the song really well and Chuck knows the song really well, but did you listen to this song, JC? What did you think about it?
I did. It's not in my wheelhouse of normal stuff I listen to, but like thematically, I could see it as the wrestler's theme song, and the crowd being like into it, be like, oh yeah, this guy's here.
I suddenly feel bad for you, because if that's not in your wheelhouse thematically, then me and Chuck lived far away from your theme, because it was just tons of metal music.
No, like yeah, no, I appreciate it. Like, there's certain things I don't listen to in my normal everyday day to day.
Me, every day I wake up and if it's not Hell's Bells, it's destroy everything, and I come out of bed, I start punching walls and throwing shit around the room. And
is that what the 1,000-yard stare was from earlier?
Yeah, I'm just ready to take on the day at that point. I'm chopping wood in half with my bare hand. Like, forget about it. I'm just ready to go.
Oh, that's awesome, Chuck.
But one of my songs was also a Hatebreed song. Shout out to Hatebreed and Jamie, and there you go. Kramer's got the shirt on, and everybody else. But I went with "I Will Be Heard," just because I like how the beginning starts, of like now is the time, and it's got the same thing that it has that crowd interaction part in it as well, with the lyrics and everything. So it definitely has that like rocking beginning, not as strong as Destroy Everything, but it just has that, like, let's go, like, we're gonna do this. Someone's getting their ass kicked. I'm coming to the ring. Like, you better watch the fuck out.
I feel like it'd be like a deathmatch wrestler's theme for me, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could go with that.
It'd have to be metal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like my list of songs was just like, let's take some of the biggest metal bands of all time, and I'm just going to put literally my favorite song by every single one of them, because that's literally what happened. I have an Iron Maiden song, a Megadeth song, and a Metallica song. My favorite Metallica song is Ride the Lightning. That's the song I chose. My favorite Megadeth song is Holy Wars, The Punishment Due. That's the song I chose. My favorite Iron Maiden song by a long shot is Flash of the Blade. That's the song I chose.
I think I probably went a little too thematic and like, okay, what character would use this, or like, oh, this would be good for this type of person. Like one of my songs. I'm out of it.
Still early.
Yeah, dude, you got me like up early, and I was just like, am I gonna be able to do this? Like, fuck. I'll say this real quick, then I'll get to my pick. Yesterday, I woke up early, and I was like, all right, it's like 6:45-ish. All right, it's a little too early for me, because on weekends I sleep until about 10:30 at the latest. And I woke up early, and I fell back asleep, and for some reason I had it in my mind that it was Saturday, and I thought I overslept and missed the podcast, and I'm like, oh my god, oh shit, I embarrassed myself, and I pissed these people off. Fuck, get the phone. I'm like, oh wait, it's Friday. I can rest easy now, and I'm gonna go back to sleep. Because I woke up from a dead heat, going, oh my god, I missed it. But back on topic though. A song that like I'm surprised no one has used. Maybe someone has, and I just haven't heard it because there's a lot of wrestling out there. It's fair to say, but Seven Dust is Black.
Great song.
It is a fantastic song. Like one of my favorite bands of all time. Their live show is incredible. Like,
agreed.
That opening guitar distortion, like, dude, that would be, if anything says it's time to kick ass, that's the song.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, didn't they play when all of us went to Carolina Rebellion that year? Wasn't Seven Dust playing there? And I recall, I could be wrong about that, but I think that they were playing, and I think they were on stage, and I was like sitting there watching them, and I'd never been a really big Seven Dust fan, and thinking, oh my god, they are fucking amazing live. Like, they were great. I think that was Seven Dust.
Like,
we have a Wikipedia train. Somebody checking Carolina Rebellion however many years ago.
2018 they did play Carolina Rebellion.
That had to be it then.
So you're right.
Do you see on the list there was oh god, what's that band that me and Kramer watched that was amazing?
Power Trip.
Power Trip. Yeah. Was Power Trip on that same year? Because if they were, then that was definitely it.
I don't know. I missed Power Trip.
Poor Chuckles. He had like
not me. Poor Christopher. I didn't even know that they were going on. Chris had to leave watching Power Trip to go.
Yeah, because it was because somebody's got to get Chuck, and me and Kramer were like, "Fuck you, we're not leaving. We're watching Power Trip."
Oh yeah.
But no, that song, like, oh, somebody needs to. I may just fucking use it one day.
Do it.
There's a couple of Seven Dust songs that's actually, it wasn't on my list, and they did a cover of Inner City Blues from Marvin Gaye.
The Marvin Gaye song?
Yeah. I was surprised
I have never heard that.
Dude, their version of that is like phenomenal, and I'm like, for me, I was like, that would be an amazing song to come out to too, but it's on my list.
After this is over, I'm gonna have to listen to that song because I love the song "Inner City Blues" by Marvin Gaye, for sure. Yeah. So I would imagine I would, I would be intrigued. I don't know if I'll like it. Who knows? I don't want to speak too soon. Sometimes you hear covers and you go, why did somebody cover this song?
Yeah.
And all those covers are done by Five Finger Death Punch. Five Finger Death Punch, you suck. Okay.
Hey, coming from you know what? I've been throwing out challenges for my Uprising Championship. I will challenge all of Five Finger Death Punch to a match for the
There you
Uprising.
go.
Chris Kale.
But actually, since I said that, I was told I have to apologize on behalf of Elevate for those. So I will have to recant, maybe, possibly, I don't know. But anyway.
Oh man.
What else do we have here from songs? He had a couple other ones. You had "Why Go" by Pearl Jam. I was listening to that song with Sarah last night online, and I was like, oh my god, 10. I was like, this album lived in one of my cars for 5 years. It never left the CD player. I love that album so
Was
much.
that 95, 96 ish when it came out? Maybe 94. I mean, that was all anybody ever talked about was Pearl Jam and 10. I know when I was in high school, it was like over the edge. Everybody, Pearl Jam, over the edge. Everybody, Jeremy, like it was ridiculous.
If anything, I look at these lists and I say to myself, you know, maybe the truth of the matter is that all of us did this wrong except for JC, Vega, and Chris. Maybe that's the truth. Maybe we just all did it wrong. Because we've got all these, you know, I'm looking through the list. You've got, Nightmare by Avenged Sevenfold. You put that on yours, Creamy K. Like, I mean, that kind of fits in with a lot of songs that, you know, like me and Chuck did, you know, where it's kind of one note. But I want you to say your other song, because your other song was the one that I really enjoyed.
It was Just Another Victim by
Love
Helmet and House of Pain off the Judgment Night soundtrack.
Love it.
First off, that soundtrack is probably one of
Amazing.
the best soundtracks out there. But that song, I remember, I'm pretty certain that was the first song that I heard off that, excuse me, off that album. And I'm like, damn, this is good. Yep. I mean, you can't just not just start headbanging when you hear it, you know.
Yeah.
Helmet has some cool music. You know what I also thought
They
of
do.
when I saw that you had Helmet as an artist, I was like, man, what about Biscuits for Smut? I'm like, that song would be a really cool, like, it's got kind of a cool intro to it, you know. It's you know, I'm sorry, I'm chucking there, you know.
You know.
You're welcome.
Hey, you're welcome. I also thought of another one last night when I was listening to music, and I was like, this may be like, if we were to do a wrestling match right now, and I was to come out to a song right now, it would be So Fresh, So Clean by Outkast.
Oh man.
That song definitely works.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like it definitely works.
Dude, you know, God, you're making me get more ideas, because like me and a buddy of mine want to tag team together, and I think I might try to pitch that as our song now.
Go for it.
There you go.
So,
I will take all the credit, by the way, if that actually happens.
and I will give you none
My
of it.
idea. That's like, you dirty single stuffer.
You got it from Jimmy. Jimmy who? Jimmy Page? Jimmy Van Zandt? Like who? Jimmy who? Jimmy Hart? I don't know Jimmy Hart.
Big baby Jimmy.
Oh man.
Jimi Hendrix is back from the dead? I mean, I would hang out with him.
We got some more songs in chat. What do they have in chat? Voice in the Sky. Any good ones?
Let's see. So
I love that we refer to Christopher as Voice in the Sky.
Voice.
Love it.
Oh, great voice in the sky.
Not like producer or
No.
anything
No.
like that.
No.
Don't give him too much respect. Although I guess voice in the sky is pretty respectful.
Yeah.
Disembodied head.
Aesthetics of Hate.
Oh my God.
Was brought up
Who
by
is
Total
that? Who is this person?
Total
Throwing out all
Anarchy.
these metal hits.
Total Anarchy. Total Anarchy coming strong today.
Freaking love it.
That's a good one.
Let's see. Superheroes by Daft Punk.
I'm game. Love me some Daft Punk.
Alright. Yeah, I like Daft Punk.
You know what? Daft Punk. Thinking about it, very tricky group to get a wrestling hit from.
Yeah.
But I'm down for that song.
Clouds Over California by
Oh,
Devil
dude.
Driver. That's
Again,
another Tonanacry, yep. And Lupe Fiasco, Around My Way.
no idea.
As a Lupe Fiasco fan, I would definitely appreciate if someone came out to that song.
And
Not what I would think of off the top as a wrestler thing, but as for different and variety, it's upbeat too, so like that would work.
That sax.
apparently it's got some hot sax in it, so.
Yeah.
It does. It does have some hot sax in it.
Now, I messaged one in the chat to Chuck. I don't know if he was able to pull it up, but Chuck, were you able to get that Bang Camaro? Pleasure.
Hold
Oh,
on.
nice.
So what was that? Rock Band or
Rock band.
Rock
Yeah.
Band?
Rock band.
I've never heard that song before in my life until I played Rock Band, but Bang Camaro, Pleasure was my jam.
Dude,
Back.
Ben Camaro's got some good ones.
And that was a cool one that I would be interested if we could turn into a theme coming out for an entrance.
What did you want?
Pleasure.
Here. Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Watch this.
God damn.
So yeah, just another one that's got a great riff, and
Yeah.
I could just see like somebody strutting out to it.
So did you listen? This is a question for the voice in the sky. Did you listen to all of Night Flight Orchestra and you just couldn't find one?
I just wanted to save the Night Flight Orchestra as just jamming out good music. I don't know, like I could probably pick a song or two as entrance music for them. Moments of Thunder would probably be my number one pick of a Night Flight Orchestra song that would be good entrance music.
So does Total Anarchy know about Night Flight Orchestra?
Well, he does now.
If you don't know, now you know. And not a particular song, but like as an artist, for me at least, like Jack White has a lot of songs that like I listen to and like that would be a good entrance song. Aside from Icky Thump, because I feel like I've heard a lot of indie guys use Icky Thump as a entrance music.
That makes sense because you said Jack White. The first thing I thought was,
Yeah.
I guess Icky Thump would work.
Icky Thump, like I feel that's a go-to in Seven Nation Army, but like there's a couple of other ones that I've listened to that I'm like, I may see. I get bored pretty like quickly with songs, but like the one I have now is tremendous. I don't think I'm gonna change that for a while. But if I go other places, I think I might use some different ones. And Jack White has like a whole catalog of like great entrance wrestling things, for me at least.
I am
But I'm
not
like,
an
wanna
angry
say-
flute player.
Uh,
Just so the chat knows.
Listen, if he tells you he's not angry, just understand the guy can get angry sometimes.
Can.
18-year-old kids beware.
But
I don't
but
know.
Good times.
one that I really would like, and like it was on my list, that I for a big fight feel match. Like I could see this being played for somebody at a WrestleMania or an All Out. Is that Wolf Totem song by the Who? I think it's how you pronounce the name. It's like Mandarin, but like
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
so. On the Spotify list that was made, it had the Papa Roach singer in it, which I didn't know that version existed until then. But like it's still the same.
Hey,
But,
look at
like,
that.
But yeah, with like the primal like sound of the lyrics, and like when I actually looked up the lyrics to the song, I don't have them offhand. I wish I had my like notes that I said I was gonna do with those lyrics. But like it just sounds like a badass. Like this is a big fight for a title feel.
Hmm.
Yeah, when
Yeah, I had
listening-
never heard of it, and I was like, what the heck is this?
When I
Yeah,
was
like-
listening to it, it was like that mix of strings and throat singing. It made me like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is a bad fucking dude that's coming out
I
like
stumbled
to do war.
right. I stumbled upon this on Twitter, and like it was like Mongolian like chant metal like deal. I'm like, I watched the video, and like I was like, dude, this is badass. Like the instrumentation is badass. The lyrics are fucking fierce. It's like talking about mauling a tiger and like stuff, or like leopards, and like we run this place, and I'm like, dude, yes, holy shit, somebody's coming out here and beating somebody's ass to this. Triple H will come out to it next month.
It'll be the theme for NXT Takeover.
There you go.
I'll take all royalty checks there, Hunter. If
I
you're
know,
watching,
right?
which you probably are, yeah.
At least he actually picks good music for like
Yeah.
the NXT shows.
Yes.
Like all the like there hadn't been a WWE show that I had liked, like a main pay-per-view that they did that I had liked the theme music for until the last WrestleMania, which I believe was Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, which I was like, oh, I was like, I'm all for this song.
I don't think WWE has picked a good theme song for a show since like 05.
Well, NXT has though. I think
Yeah,
NXT
well,
has.
Yeah, well, if we're talking NXT, but like dubs that were away from the NXT umbrella, like for me, like it's just, I think from like 99 to like 2003 maybe was like the run where they had like excellent choices for theme songs for their events, but NXT's had some good ones.
He just did something that's weird, and we all do it. And why is it that all wrestling fans like we can be so accepting of the fact that like main card WWE in particular sucks? Like if a WWE fan went to another WWE fan, Raw sucks, you'd be like, yeah, I know. They're always so protective of NXT. They're like, no, it doesn't even have a it's not even WWE. Like, don't talk about it like it's WWE.
It's its own entity.
It's its own entity. It's too good. It's too good to be under other crap.
To tread lightly, they do a lot of things well. Like it's hard to argue that Hunter's track record running NXT is very solid.
Yeah, and they just keep. I mean I think it's some of the more compelling.
Uh-oh.
I hate Christopher.
Oh, there was just a note in the chat about Jimmy's opinion is his opinion and does not reflect the opinions of all the Bald Monkeys podcast members or JC Vega at all.
Exactly. Even when we agree, we don't agree. It checks out.
Well, just another Bald Monkeys podcast and having everybody, crap all over me. I'm good with it, though.
You fucking hipster. There's two people I hate in this world. It's Brittany and it's Jimmy. Put me in the ring against them.
Well, you started the fight, so when I start throwing negative tweets at you, I hope you're game to throw them back.
Sir, you were not ready for what.
Yeah, I don't know if you're ready for that, Jimmy.
Oh,
listen, if I'm pulling Gothic Sheriff Horowitz out from like the ether and people are like, are you throwing a clueless reference on a fucking wrestling show?
I loved actually he was trying to challenge Melissa Joan Hart the other day, and he could have easily thrown out like a character like Sabrina, but I appreciated that you threw out Clarissa. To which I had to flex I am also old and know some of this stuff and say, what would you think about challenging Ferguson? Which, for those of you that don't know, Clarissa Explains It All is actually Clarissa's brother.
Yeah. I'll even go, a deeper cut. I'll even challenge Roger from Sister Sister.
Oh my
Marcus Houston, where are you at? Come face me for the Uprising Championship. If I had the belt present, I would display it right now. I'm challenging everybody.
Everyone.
Anybody can get a title shot. Captain Chuckles, Jimmy, Creamy Kramer, whoever. The floating voice in the sky. Anybody can come get it.
The voice in the sky is just a voice. I don't think you can just wrestle a voice, right?
No.
He can say nasty.
He's not even saying anything.
Who are you to doubt the champ?
I mean, I doubt anybody that believes that double stuffed Oreo is better than single stuffed Oreo.
Can we just mute him? Like,
I-
we need to have like an
Sure.
automatic mute for whenever Jimmy brings up Oreos. It just stops his feed.
Let me. Well, we're gonna keep going, but let me wrap up the podcast portion of this and stop recording it on my side. So, thank you all for joining us that are listening to the podcast on YouTube. We appreciate you joining in on the banter. I would
Yes.
like to throw out a couple things. I will be throwing a poll out on Twitter with a handful of pay-per-views as to what is going to be the next pay-per-view that we talk about on the next Monkeying Around, and I'll probably maybe get a few ideas from JC Vega on that too. They'll definitely have a little selection option there from something that he has suggested to us. In regards to last week, we talked about me, Big Baby Jimmy, doing a little taco eating challenge to see how well I could do it. I am going to do that today. So I will give
Oh.
everybody an update on the next podcast on how I did. And other than that, I would like to thank you, JC Vega, for being here with us to talk about theme songs. And I would like to thank, obviously, Chuckles, Creamy Kramer, and I don't like Christopher, so he gets no thanks at all.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Christopher.
Voice
thank you,
in the
thank you, voice in the sky. I'm gonna tweet out my list of what should be theme songs a little bit later today. They're a little bit out of the box. Some bands that not many people have probably heard of before, unless you're really into some metal and stuff like that. But
Well, we can still talk about that, but you know, this podcast has reached like humongo proportions from my recording standpoint.
hey,
So
but
we'll-
at least
we're gonna-
I didn't blip out 7 times. I was here all but once.
Yeah, you just blipped out the once, and after I'd started recording, and so I still
always
have
try.
to. I still have to edit shit, Chuck.
I always try.
And JC Vega was still here. Brittany did
Yes.
not interrupt. Elevate Pro did not interrupt me this time. I'm glad you guys brought me here. I hope to come back anytime you guys want me here.
So again, you know, not sure how long everybody's staying around, but the stream isn't over, but the podcast is. So join us next week for
Some pay-per-view.
some pay-per-view that we haven't determined.
And we find out that Jimmy did not eat 12 tacos in 5 minutes also.
But I will have eaten more than 8.
Possibly.
Why are you not recording it?
I don't think that would be very attractive or good for myself.
I don't know. Well, for
Says
those
the
of you,
single
No
guy.
reason to do it.
for those of you that are watching the Twitch stream right now, if you like wrestling and you haven't already, go check out Sledge805. That's his Twitch handle. He on Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. You figure it out if you live in the middle of those 2 time zones. Is having a 12-pack challenge, a rematch against Alex the Sauce Zane, who was an alum of our podcast early on. So check that out tomorrow on Twitch. It is going to be very interesting. I'm excited to see what Alex brings this time because he got destroyed the first time.
Okay, so before I hit the stop record button on this podcast, JC Vega, push your
Thank
stuff.
you.
Push.
Okay, you can follow me at the JC Vega on Twitter, the JC Vega on Facebook. Come see me rant about Elevate Pro, rant about all the things going on, the slights against me as their champion. They call me I am the Uprising champion, but I am the champion of Elevate Pro. So I do some movie picks too on Fridays, Vega Movie Fridays. So if you want movie reviews or
There's
picks
something
that
about Mary.
that may be on my list eventually, but
See?
that's where you go.
Well, thank you for joining us, JC, and
Thank you for having me.
we appreciate you stopping by, and thank you everybody for watching the podcast. We'll see you next week.
Podcast
All right.
over.
Done. Podcast over. Live stream still going. I saw somebody said that they love Five Finger Death Punch. That's Total Anarchy. Total Anarchy, we're throwing out so much good metal, and then you said you love Five Finger Death Punch. I just can't follow, bro. The guy, he never shuts up in between songs. It's like, here's a X long song. I'm gonna talk 20 minutes before I start my next X. It's like, oh my gosh.
God, that reminds me of this.
And they pander too much. They just pander.
God, what was
Drives me
that? That
crazy.
reminds me of this indie band that I saw at Voodoo Fest in New Orleans one year. I forgot the name of their band though. Like they're like this popular indie band, like Red Lips or something. I forgot their fucking name. But regardless, their lead singer like droves on and on. Like he went at one point about, I want to dedicate this to Gene Simmons. He's not dead, but I'm gonna dedicate this to him and all the cosmic brothers in the sky we've lost along the way on this transcendent journey of whatever the fuck he was talking about on acid. It was just like, what are you doing? What are we talking about? Have you played a song in this hour and a half set that you had? And everyone's like, bro, that was such a good show. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Am I crazy? Am I not drugged enough for this? Like, what is happening? But yeah, sorry, tangent.
I like Total Anarchy that you said I'll listen to Five Finger Death Punch over Nickelback or Three Doors Down or something generic like that. It's interesting because when I think about generic bands that always sound the same, obviously it's overstated that Nickelback sounds the same over and over and over again. It's like they came out with that song How You Remind Me a long time ago, and then everything was just, here's the next version of How You Remind Me, and the next version of How You Remind Me, and the next version. Three Doors Down is so much worse than that. Three Doors Down, every single song starts and sounds the same. It drives me. It's like individual picking at the beginning, like every single song.
And now we're gonna play Kryptonite Part 6.
Oh my god.
Jimmy breaks down his most hated songs next time.
I don't hate all those songs from those bands though. Like for instance, you say Nickelback. Like I think meme culture has made me really like the song Photograph by Nickelback.
I knew that was coming. Fuck.
Yeah, meme culture makes that song listenable because all the different look at this graph. Like that's just all that stuff's look at this giraffe.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh. Who now? Yeah, God, now you got me thinking about other artists who like just sound the same every record, but
There's a lot. I probably listen to them too still at times.
It's music, man. There's metal music that's like that. And you know what?
This may be a controversial take, but it's like it seems to me like AC/DC just comes out with the same kind of songs every album.
Oh,
There's a
Kramer.
lot of similarities. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, listen, it's all good. There's a lot of similarities. I think there's a joke out there that the person who's got the easiest job in rock and roll is the AC/DC drummer because they just got all the same beats.
Having played AC/DC's version of Rock Band, and have gone through and played all of their drum stuff on Expert, I would say that is almost spot on true. But they do have a couple of songs that are like, oh shit, what's going on?
Because like they play them in all the Iron Man movies, and I'm like, isn't that just the same song we heard before?
All good. It's
All right,
not
now that
everyone's cup
Jimmy
of
is
tea.
gone, Jimmy is a good-for-nothing piece of shit.
Oh,
I like it. Hey, Jimmy, you're back.
Hey, I'm back. Was anybody saying anything about me?
Nope, weird. Nope.
No, we were just talking about Iron Man.
My
From
gosh.
the bottom of my heart, I just wanted to say, to hell with you.
Oh man.
Christopher, the voice in the sky, is just loving this right now behind the scenes.
I'm enjoying it. It's been a great podcast. It's been a great stream. We hit over double digits in viewers today, which is great.
Nice.
We've had some great interaction. Shout out to everybody in the chat who's interacted and brought up some great music that I think Captain Chuckles has forgotten about almost, and all of a sudden, he's maybe not forgotten about.
No, not
If I
forgotten.
repeat the
Aesthetics
screen-
of Hate has never been forgotten about. I love that song.
Can I get an amen on this opinion of metal though? As much metal that comes out day to day, because I listen to a whole lot of metal, like new metal. God, the metal industry, like over 50% of it just sucks.
But you listen to new
But that's
metal,
not to
so they're still in
say
2000.
that's not the well, not new, like not in
Not NU.
yeah. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like, there are a lot of new metal bands day to day to day to day, and so many of them are bad. If you actually actively go look for metal, it's like, good gracious, it's so hard to find sometimes.
Agreed. I'm still annoyed. I brought this up to my wife last night as I was playing her some of our songs from our Spotify list. I'm annoyed that Hatebreed still hasn't just dropped their album digitally. They had a new album that was supposed to come out in March, and they couldn't put it out because a bunch of the CD pressing houses kind of shut down because of, the beginnings of COVID. And I'm just like, bro, just put it out digitally.
They're
If
still
anything-
pressing CDs.
Yeah, if exactly.
Apparently.
If anything, the music industry like flourished during all of this. You know, because even if people are just like on streaming music all the time on like free Spotify, there's still revenue getting pumped out from it.
Yeah.
I want my new Hatebreed.
I do too.
But an interesting thing that, well, I mean, I know it's good for like the big artists, but I know for like this independent rapper Novelist, he said for him streaming, he gets paid, but not very well off of the streaming catalog, which it kind of sucks, but like.
But it's the way the music industry is just totally changed on it that way,
Like,
and now it's like if people buy whole albums, they rarely buy CDs, but they might buy vinyl. So vinyl, that's why vinyl's become more vibrant.
That's such a weird thing too. Like vinyl died for a while, now it's back. CDs are dead, but like maybe in like 30 years. God, that'd be so weird.
You know the fad I don't get? People at shows that sell cassette tapes of their music. It's like, don't be a hipster. Who's listening to a cassette tape? It's kind of like VHS. It's like, oh, I've got that on VHS. It's like, yeah, well, don't watch it on VHS because it's awful.
Wait, who's doing cassettes?
I've definitely seen it. Yeah, I've definitely seen it. I can't think of an artist off the top of my head, but I've definitely seen it as like one of those like kind of just I don't even know if it's like we expect you to play this or we just expect you to be like some kind of
is there anything
thing
on it?
that
Is
you
it
have.
A gag?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're just buying the cassette jacket. That's all.
You just blew my fucking mind. Like
like VHS tapes too. Like people keep their VHS tape collections, but are they still watching their VHS tapes all the time?
I still have some VHS tapes. Most of them are like recorded from like when the Devils won the Stanley Cup in '95 and 2000 and 2003.
Yeah.
Just for, sentimental reasons, but have I watched them? No.
I think
old school porn. He shakes his head.
Oh man.
On that note, Kramer, I'm out of here. I got shit to do. JC, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. It's been fun.
Thank you guys for having me.
The inevitable drop off.
This is where we slowly trickle off and people just leave the chat. So Chuckles is usually number one. So everyone in the chat say bye, Captain Chuckles.
I got shit to do.
We got Val Pancakes just popped in. Little Psychopath just popped in. Follow. Thank you.
From
JC just moved.
JC was just like, nope.
I don't know.
There you go.
I'll take Chuck's spot. Fuck that guy.
You gotta jump in here. Everybody, we'll see you next week.
See you, Chuck.
I love you guys. Adios.
Later, Chuckles. No Chuckle Shuffle? No Chuckle Shuffle for us?
Dude, I don't even know if I could do it again how I did it before. But hold on, maybe I could.
You know what? On the VHS topic, maybe as a gag for a best of Vega, I will have at the merch table eventually just a VHS tape with like the whole sleeve.
Yes, just one copy. Just one copy.
Nice.
I'll tell you the thing that I'm most nostalgic about when it comes to videotapes, and your hat reminded me of it. Mr. JC Vega. It is that the original Ninja Turtles movie. Oh, here's the meme. hard to see. Yeah, your light's too bright.
I know. I'm sorry. And you gotta love that dance discotheque.
Right.
Well,
Fred.
the high-speed version is great.
1.5
It's pretty
times.
funny.
Everybody, I love you all. We'll see you next
See you,
time.
Chuck.
See you later, Chuckles.
Later, guys.
Later, Chuckles.
So the original Ninja Turtles movie, the live action Ninja Turtles movie, they had this ad on the tape
Yes.
and it was a Pizza Hut ad where they were playing baseball and they've got like the I am so damn nostalgic for that. You're like off in the distance, the game's dragging on. Like, oh my god.
I wish they would. I wish they'd have put that on the DVD for the nostalgia alone. No, actually, fun little fact. When I was living in Tampa, Florida, the Tampa Theater has a special like evening where they play like old classic movies, and they call it like the Tampa Rewind. And they played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles original live action movie. And before the movie played, they did the fucking Pizza Hut ad with like the grainy VHS look to it, and I was like,
God bless.
this is tremendous.
God bless. I mean, that was like almost as iconic as that movie was for me back then.
Yeah.
I think the only movie I watched more than that when I was a young kid was Last Action Hero. Oh my god, I probably watched Last Action Hero like 50 fucking times.
If I were to get the VHS tape of my original Ninja Turtles movie, I'm pretty sure like a bit of it's grainy because of how much I rewound it and watched it. And sometimes I would watch it 2 or 3 times a day.
I had a self-recording not self-recording, not a recording of me, but one that I recorded myself of the second Ninja Turtles movie, which of course has the great Vanilla Ice
Go
doing.
Ninja, go Ninja.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
God,
Now I want to be Vanilla Ice.
Hey,
Oh.
would you turn your video on, bro?
I
But you
told
gotta
you
come on.
I can't. Streamlabs, I would have to stop the stream and restart the stream to get on the video because it won't let me do it.
That's
Oh, good.
that's his
Nobody-
excuse. What he's really not telling everybody is he's buck naked right now and he's feeling himself a little too much.
It's not good stream content at all.
Rob
And-
Van Dam got Impact pulled off of Twitch. I'm pretty sure none of us want that. None of us want to see that.
I don't know. Well, so you're all into the movie thing. What are some of your favorite movies, man?
Dude, that's like I remember we were talking about that in the interview. That's such a hard thing to narrow down, but like I love obviously the Ninja Turtles original movie, Pulp Fiction, From Dusk Till Dawn, The Raid, the Raid 2. A little
There he
bit.
is.
You just did it.
Hey!
I got it to work! Sorry.
Managed to do it. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Yeah, that's
Guide to
cool.
Recognizing Your Saints, Blind Spotting. Like, there's a whole. I could talk about this for hours. If y'all ever want to do a movie roundtable,
Hell yeah.
I will be here.
Well, dude, the only problem a lot of times is like we try to focus on wrestling stuff
Yeah.
and wrestling movies. I mean, there are wrestling movies, but there's not
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
tons of them worth
unfortunately-
talking about.
No,
Like-
I mean, the wrestler was really good. It fucking depressed me because it's like, yeah, that's pretty much the old vets. A lot of the time, it's like they were big in the heyday of the '80s, and now they're like, brother, I need $20 to get like a McDonald's hamburger. Like, it's fucking sad. And Ready to Rumble? I mean, I guess you could dissect Ready to Rumble.
Ready to Rumble's not bad. Yeah,
It's
Ready to
fun.
Rumble's cool. What was the
You
one
know-
with Zeus and Hulk Hogan?
No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred. I think that was my first memory of like wrestlers in movies.
Yeah. What's that smell? Dookie. Like,
I mean, technically, Hulk Hogan was in what? It was Rocky 3.
yep.
Yep.
Underlips is here in the flesh, baby.
They did
Like,
not want him to do that movie. Vince Senior
yeah,
did
Vince
not.
Senior didn't want him to do it.
Nope. He said, "You're fired if you do that movie."
And
he,
it, you
and
know,
he did it anyway.
I think it's safe to say it worked out for Hulk.
Worked out okay.
It might have been fine for a while.
Yeah.
Until Until stuff happened.
Everybody has stuff happen.
Yeah,
Well,
there's no for me and man, as a child of like again as a big diehard Hulk Hogan fan and like loving the Hollywood Hogan era and realizing later on that he's just not what he was portraying, it just kind of bums you out a bit.
you mean
But
John Cena isn't a doctor of thugonomics?
oh, I know it's
He doesn't have a PhD?
PhD in thugonomics.
and he is not.
Where
he's
does
not a
one
real
get that?
Marine. He is not a
Ask,
real Marine.
ask
The-
Wikipedia.
The
That's why
Undertaker,
I could not watch the Marine.
the Marine, yeah.
I've looked everywhere as to where I can get this doctorate in thugonomics, and I haven't been able to find it. Because I'm not looking for me. I'm more looking for Nikomura because I know he's like way into getting a doctorate in thugonomics.
School of Hard Knocks. Val says the School of Hard Knocks, yeah. That's where you would get that doctorate.
What was
Yeah.
another wrestling centric movie that like it's escaping me right now? We've named the wrestler Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
Was there something else? I feel like there was some. I think
Nacho Libre.
Nacho
right?
Libre. I think Sylvester Stallone did a movie that was like kind of centered around wrestling. It was like it had the mob in it. It was like the 1920s. I'm pretty sure. Like I can't remember the name, but like that was like one of his films after Rocky. And I just know it was. I've heard it was fucking atrocious. I haven't seen it, but
I don't know. I'm looking through here. There's not a whole lot other than the ones we said. I mean, you've got ones
Paradise
that are
Alley?
yeah, that's the name. That was the name of it. Yeah.
I've never even heard of this movie. Paradise Alley,
neither.
1978.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
Well, I got something to watch later.
Yeah. So I heard it
I
wasn't
think-
good. I haven't seen it. Like I've seen like audio. I've seen clips of as he was talking about it, but like it's not something. And I was like, I need to watch that.
I mean, we got movies with wrestlers in them. I mean, you could
Yeah,
always
I
talk
like
about those. Like any of the movies that like Roddy Piper was in were pretty good. They Live. That movie's awesome.
They Live is amazing. I had to do like a paper on They Live. Well, not like on They Live itself, but like it was used in a topic that I had to write about for a thesis, and I don't fucking miss that part of film school.
Did you
Right.
ever see that one movie? I'm a big
Yes, that one movie.
Yes, I saw that
I'm
one.
a big.
The one.
I'm still fucking talking, guys. You're killing me.
Oh,
You're killing me.
You never stop.
You're still talking?
Jesus.
You're more unbearable to listen to than Britney.
Oh wow. Well, I guess the new champion of unbearableness is here. This guy.
I didn't say
No.
you held the title. I said you're up there, sir.
How do you
anyway,
know it's
sorry.
how you know it's not around my waist right now?
Folded.
Yeah, so I'm a big horror movie guy. Love horror movies, and so naturally one of the services that I use a lot is Shudder, because it's like a very horror movie focused, and on
So you
that
watch Glitter.
oh man,
Wow.
This is fun for me. I'm just going to put that out there. A lot of fun for me right now. The dynamic that usually I have to deal with, that JC is here to kind of do. I mean, I'm just enjoying it. Enjoying
So,
it.
Chris, this is pretty much what we all get to experience, and now you get to see it for yourself. This is great.
It's wonderful.
But so this movie that I did not
It's
know
from-
about that came out around the same time that They Live. It's called Hell Comes to Frogtown. Have you ever heard of that movie before?
I've heard of it.
That movie is absolutely insane. What about you boys? I think maybe have talked about it before. Does that name ring a bell to you
You've
guys?
talked about it before, but you've talked about it, but I've never gotten to go see it yet. So I'm still.
Oh man, I'm still
Yeah.
pitching that. Everybody needs to go see it. It's a little bit, old horror movies are kind of like old wrestling, and that if you're gonna easily be offended by the like objectification of women, or like dirty jokes, or I don't know, stuff like that, maybe you shouldn't watch it. So in that case, don't watch it. But anybody who just kind of enjoys all that stuff, go take a watch, because I don't know what you think about this, JC, but I'm always yelling about, like, it's wrestling, like, who cares if it pushes the edge too much, because it's wrestling.
I could agree to a certain extent. I mean, if you want a guy to get heat, and it's for some reason, I know why, but it's like really hard to get true, genuine heat out of people these days. I mean, there's a way, I'm sure, to push the boundaries, but not like go too far.
I think they do it in independent wrestling too. I think in independent wrestling, that is definitely more of a thing, you know, like, and exactly, Total Anarchy says it, Talking Shop Mania. They definitely, in Talking Shop Mania, I would say, did some very offensive things, and nobody really said anything about it. But that's okay, because the people, I think, that are buying Talking Shop Mania are wrestling fans to the degree of, it's like, well, it's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you, and especially if you know those guys and listen to their stuff, like, you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So,
I miss that. I miss all that stuff, man. That's, I don't know. And I know the independent scene, because we've been watching it, is a little bit cooler than that. But, like, oh my God, the mainstream, they just bend over to criticism and stuff like that. When at the end of the day, if they're actually getting legit criticism from what somebody does in their private life, like, that's one thing. Like, hey, you have the star, he's doing this. But if you run a storyline and they're, like, offended by that storyline, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, like, it depends on,
I guess if your sponsors care, that's a problem.
I mean, that's why I think I like MJF as a character is great, because he pushes those boundaries, and people are like, you shouldn't say that. I mean, I get you're a good heel, but it's like, no, he's fucking doing the job.
Nope.
And kudos to him for never breaking that stride.
True.
Living it.
Really.
Yeah, Ciampa used to be like that for a while, when Ciampa was just like the bad guy, you know. Yeah. Did you ever tell JC that story?
No, I don't believe I've told this story. Other than
you told it on a podcast. I don't think you've told it on a live stream, though. You can tell the people on the live stream the story.
So we attend a lot of house shows that we can find in the area, and one of them was an NXT house show in a very small venue. And we get front row seats whenever we can, because it's just fun, especially to watch this one yell at everybody. I mean, he's just hilarious. So we ended up in the front row, and it ended up being the two of us and my kids with me. And we were in the front row, and Ciampa comes out and is tagging with Johnny Gargano against Velveteen and Ricochet. So that sets the time of who was in NXT at the time. And Ciampa is hugging the belt, you know, has his belt, that's his baby. And Velveteen comes over, and he's got his shirt, and he's trying to give it to somebody, and Jimmy's helping by pointing to one of my kids, and Velveteen comes over and gives them the shirt, and Ciampa kind of just eyes it, and snatches it right out of her hand, throws it on the ground, stomps it down, and of course, they are upset. They are very upset at what's going on. And that plays out for the next 20 minutes, where he's continually antagonizing my child. And as a father, part of me is like, you're a terrible person, this is horrible. As a wrestling fan, I'm like, this is so cool.
You got that duality going on, like, oh man,
like,
I gotta be there for my kid.
It's so over. And the crowd's into it, and they're crying, and I'm like, it's okay, this is so cool. And I don't know, like, I'm torn by it. And it got to a point where it finally was, like, too far. And that's the point where I stood up and Jimmy stood up, and we were like, whoa, this is a little bit too much. And
Yeah.
even the people who we were right behind where like the announcers were, and they were like, okay, this has gone a little bit too far. And they just start throwing signed pictures at us. Here's a signed picture of Aleister Black. Here's a signed picture of the Undisputed Era. Here's a signed picture of Johnny Gargano. Don't
You want to
worry.
be Triple H here? Trips, come out.
Funny you say that. We were brought backstage after the event because of everything that went on.
Yeah.
I won't go into everything else, but the coolest part about that whole thing was that walking out, everybody in the crowd and social media was like, did you see that? Ciampa antagonizing a little girl was the best part of the show. People outside going, hey, look at that little girl. She was part of the show. Like, to the point where I think some people actually thought we were in on the gag the whole time.
Yeah.
But Ciampa
We're
never
not.
spoke
She's
to
a
us.
stunt child.
Never spoke to us in the back. We never actually met Ciampa. We met Velveteen. We met Adam Cole. We met Keith Lee. We met
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley. We met a lot of people, or the kids did. We were just kind of standing there like, okay.
Yeah.
But
No,
Ciampa
I don't get starstruck, but-
Ciampa never came to break character, except for one moment of weakness where he leaned over the rail and quietly handed her his shirt. But no one really saw that.
Yeah,
He
because there's a lot of stuff
stayed
going on in the ring.
Yeah.
character.
And
And
that's cool. See,
man, I miss that. I miss that
Yeah.
Ciampa, and I love the dedication of that. And I agree with you, MJF. I love the dedication that he has to his character.
We were walking up the stairs afterwards, and we were like, just like the girls are walking ahead of us are pretty quiet, and I go, man, that got a little bit intense. He kind of went over the edge there for a minute, and he goes, yep, and I go, God, man, he's such a good heel, and he's like, I know, right? Like we were just geeking out about it.
My kids are
Yeah,
good,
see-
by the way. They remember that
Oh,
now.
yeah.
They remember that now. When they see him on TV, they're like Tommaso Ciampa. They're so excited about it now. So
They're such a fan.
Now, I always had interesting interactions with wrestlers as a kid. One of my go-to stories. This is a funny one, and probably maybe borderline inappropriate depending on who you ask. My mother. I'm a bit of a jaw jacker. Like I talk my shit, and Molly Holly was leaving. It was a house show. It was a 4-way dance, like elimination style, and Molly Holly got eliminated. And this was right at the time when she's like doing that prim and proper thing. Well, I think either it was Trish or Victoria. Somebody like pulled her tights down, or no, it was before that. It was she pulled her tights down. She's wearing granny panties, right? So she's leaving them like later granny panties, and like she's like, granny panties. What the hell do you call these? And like freaking drops trowel right there, and I'm like, oh, okay. And this is like 13-year-old me going, I like this. I'm confused. I'm bewildered. My father is right behind me going, what the hell? Like, very religious Catholic man. Like, Justin, what the hell was that? And I'm just like,
a lot of
man.
good stuff.
It was hysterical. I got in Triple H's face. Me and him had a few words. So like, I always enjoy antagonizing the heels. Like I pissed Matt Hardy off. I called him Chubby Hardy or Fat Hardy. It was during that time. The entire match, and this girl, like 3 seats away from me, is a diehard Hardy Boys fan. Like
Oh
she's
man.
dressed to like in full like trip pants and all, Hardy's regalia, and she's getting mad at me. Matt Hardy's trying to like ignore me, and like he's looking at me like, you son of a bitch. But
Can't ignore it.
yeah, she's like, it's funny. But the Molly Holly story is my favorite one. And like the guy who was behind me is like, did you get a picture? I'm like, no, I did not. I'm too caught up. It took me a second. Like I'm looking at her, and then I look down, and I'm like, oh, there's her zebra print thong. Okay.
So Molly, if you wanted to help out JC to get that image back, if we could just kind of reenact that so he can actually snap the picture.
Oh man.
Oh yeah,
wow.
bro. Like that, I'm sure that would have not flown in the 2020 WWE PG era.
Sometimes it feels like it's weird because like I sometimes it just feels like extra PG, but
Yeah.
because AEW does it, they'll say shit every now and then. Shit.
Right.
It's like, okay.
It's good shit.
They love to force the word shit on their
Yeah.
on their program.
But yeah, no, I love when the heels just go off. Like I remember like fucking deranged Scott Steiner taking somebody's Goldberg flag and spitting on it, wiping his ass with it, like wiping his nose. Which I was like, wait, you just wiped your ass with that Steiner, but I'm not gonna question it because like this man's a large behemoth of a psycho.
He likes his smell, maybe.
Yeah, like he's like throwing it at him, like "F you, man, fuck Goldberg, fuck you. I'd whoop his ass if he were here right now." And like the dude's like jawing with him. They had like a tug of war with it. It was hysterical. And like Ric Flair, like, "I'm here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and all you fat broads wouldn't have a chance. Gut riding Space Mountain." And like, especially you fat broad in the front row, and they're Sting like, "I'm gonna go make out with her." I'm like, oh god, I feel bad for you, Sting. Sting, you're a good guy, but come on, you can heal it up just once, right?
Is there always someone in the crowd that you're pointing at, or is it just a general point? As a heel, no, just as a heel. I guess it's more of just a heel question.
Sometimes like I'll look, when I make my interest, I'll look around and gauge some people. Like, okay, I'll say something to them. In Tampa, there was this one lady who would just go on and on and on. So I'm like, all right, I got to get something at her because it'll piss her off, and I'll shut her up, and she'll just feed into it even more. And like, she's like, "You're a little girl," and I'm like, "Are you obsessed with little girls? What are you doing, you creepo?" And I'm just like beating up on her favorite. I'm like, "This is for you. This is for existing. This is for your mother. She looks like a bloated Wednesday Addams. What are you doing here?" And like, speaking of heel heat and like that whole thing of like never breaking character, she's a diehard fan in Tampa at a promotion. I don't know if I should name this or not, but so in the interest of savoring, I won't say, but like, and they were having all the wrestlers sign the card, and they bring it to me, and I'm like, and I'm thinking old school heel. I'm like, I'm not signing it. Like, no. They're like, come on, it's her birthday. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't like her to begin with. It's her birthday. Who cares? I'm not liked. Like, just put something down. Anything. So I was like, if you must twist my arm, and I wrote, "Try not to stop breathing, ... If you do, though, I won't care. JC."
Yes.
And she got the card, and of course, it got back to the promoter, and he was like, "You know what you did was a terrible thing, right?" I was like,
it wasn't actually.
"Nah, dude, it's fine." He's like, "Nah, man. There's heat and there's real life, man. You just don't mess around with that sort of stuff." And I was just like, she'll be here next month anyway. And sure enough,
there she was.
She was there, trying to interact again. And after the show, was trying to interact, and I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm going to my car. Please stay away."
Yeah.
So, you know.
I don't know. I mean,
I'll generally just yell out some random things, and like if someone like says something back, I'll look to them and try to come up with something real quick to get at them, and then get back to work.
Yeah.
The trick of that is if they hit you with something, you better hit them with a zinger and then just get away, because
drop the mic and go.
Keep going. Yeah, because that just leaves them open for more. And if they hit you with something good, then you don't have anything great to come back with. You've lost it.
Yeah.
I watched this drag queen was like going at this heel, and the heel was trying to be snarky, and the drag queen is just hitting him with zinger after zinger after zinger, and it's just like, dude, you are burying yourself. Just please stop. Just go on about your business. But he's still trying, and I'm like, oh, friend, you are getting killed. I hate you anyway as a performer, but all right. You don't know him well enough to know, and that's sad when a drag queen is hitting you with better barbs than you're hitting him with. Like, man, that's your job, and this non-worker outworked you.
A drag queen, non-worker.
A drag queen? Like, come on, man. There's nothing wrong with drag queen.
That's the moral. But that's the moral of the story, which is in the chat. Don't trade words with a drag queen.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Creamy, you gotta leave.
Yeah, sorry, you guys were going. It was some good stuff. I didn't want to interrupt and ruin anything, but
yeah, I feel like I've you've just been
You
quiet.
should have interrupted and been like, "Really, JC? You say Big Baby Jimmy never shuts up? You just keep talking. I can't get out of here."
well, I like him. He likes the bouncing souls. Jimmy, I don't like you, so it's all
Oh, there you go.
yeah. No, I gotta go. I got some stuff I gotta do around the house now that it's not raining. So, JC, it was fun hanging out, getting to chat a bit. Chris, I like you. Jimmy, no.
I'm 0 for 2 today on people liking me.
You know the deal. You know the deal. We say that in front of everybody, but you're kind of tolerable, maybe a little bit. I don't know.
You're not. You literally just broke kayfabe, bro. Good job.
Don't break kayfabe.
As much as I don't.
I do what I want.
I don't like you, but I will kind of agree. As a child, I was not on the Austin train all that much.
It's good.
I will say that in your favor, and that says something because I won't even do that for Brittany, who's my boss. So, but you're still a piece of shit.
And on that note, perfect timing.
Bye, Creamy Kramer.
Bye, Creamy Kramer.
Take it easy.
Got buys from the chat. Val with a fun story about Ric Flair. I don't know if I should repeat it, but
there's not many whole Ric Flair stories I'm sure that can be repeated.
Yeah, well, the moral of the story is Ric Flair said something obnoxious to her sister in 2010 and then apologized for it, and they got to go backstage. So similar to the Ciampa story, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta hold on. I mean, I respect it. If you go over the edge, like, yeah, we can take care of you. If we've gone over the edge, we can take care of you after. But like, kayfabe doesn't need to be dead, even if Vincent Kennedy McMahon killed it X amount of years ago.
Like I admire that. Like I understand today's climate, and everyone knows it's a work, brother. Like who cares? It's just wrestling. But I do appreciate the guys who will stick to it no matter what. Mm-hmm. And like me online on my social media, it's JC Vega. It's not the guy behind JC Vega. Which it got me in some trouble with a certain boss person. They were like, read the room. Like, and nothing I did was super egregious, but they were like, it's not the time and the place. But I'm like, was it really that bad though? Because what the situation was really wasn't. People were just giving you praise. It is what it is. But like, if you do it in an artful, skillful way, and not like, again, if you're not like talking about like, I don't know, like I agree with Al Qaeda or some ridiculous thing, or
pick your spots.
Yeah, like, you know what, Jack Kevorkian had it right. I don't fucking know, like whatever topic.
So if you want hot takes like that, I just put it in the chat. Go follow the JC Vega on Twitter. He's also on Facebook. He's got great hot takes. Yes. The JC Vega.
Maybe his next character will be called Kevorkian the Killer.
Kevorkian the Killer. Yeah, like I don't know, like shit. Like I mean, I guess you get a. So this would be a terrible character, but now that I just thought about it, and hopefully putting it out there, no one is stupid enough to do it. But like, could you like imagine like a pedophile character out there being like, oh yeah, like.
That's probably that would be a little bit too over the edge for sure.
Right.
But interestingly enough, I do not think the same way about a racist character. I think a racist character could work very well in wrestling, and it's one of those, again, you just have to understand, like, there's definitely that line. And I think especially when a character is critiquing the issues of the moment, that there is a lot of value in that in the wrestling industry.
I'm going to go off that topic. Like Muhammad Hassan, like looking at it now from a more as I'm older and like a more adult lens, like what he was saying wasn't that off base. A lot of Americans stereotype Muslims, like, oh, just because of their color of their skin or their choice of religion. Like, it's like he kind of had it right, and like, oh, we hate you because you're anti-American, but it's like,
Yeah.
But the character works,
point.
right? The character stirs up controversy, and at the end of the day, you know, that character's going to get booed a lot. That is a good thing. Yeah. That's a very good thing, because then it helps put over your hero. It helps put over the person that silences that force of what we're defining as negativity. But just because something, you know, I mean,
Sorry. I mean, it's especially in today's climate and like everything, it's a tricky subject with race and all that. But I mean, people don't get up in arms about. Well, I mean, I guess they did, but like Django Unchained, like everybody wants to see the freaking slave owners and all the people who were like owning and beating up slaves and like doing horrible things get theirs in the end. Like,
sure. Yeah, you build the crazy character, and I mean, exactly. You don't have people going, "Oh my gosh, Leonardo DiCaprio, how could you dare play a character this heinous?"
Right.
And why not? Is it because they're saying, "Well, it's just a movie and he's an actor"? Okay, well, you just made my point. You know, you made my point. Yeah, that's why like when people, you know, as a wrestling fan, you always deal with and it's become a lot smaller amount of people, but when you say, yeah, you know, I really like wrestling, and they go, wrestling's fake. And you go, Game of Thrones is fake. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't. Bro, could you imagine Jon Snow saying, "This isn't a shoot, bro, it's a work. Now I'm gonna fight you for real, bro." I don't know why I went into Vince Russo, but I feel like that'd be the way to go.
Jon Snow's a lot of bros there. I don't know. That's interesting.
The next season, Jon Snow is gonna be like, "I'm Kit Harington. You are not Joffrey. You are a man playing a character, but I'm gonna fight you for real with a sword."
Yeah.
But sorry, I just went off and on.
Plenty of tangents here. Plenty of tangents.
But like, yeah, I agree. And that whole topic too of like, let's do goofy shit because it's wrestling. Who cares? It's fun. I don't mind like comedy in my wrestling, but like, I feel like at a certain point we have to like try to still present it as this is a sport. We are fighting to win. Like,
another real hot topic recently. I said another hot topic recently, because you have so many female wrestlers like taking a stand on it, and is intergender wrestling. And it seems like there's been lots of female wrestlers like posting on Twitter about like, you know, I'm going to continue doing intergender wrestling no matter what you say. And I didn't realize how crazy of an issue this was. Yeah. I mean, I'm very pro intergender wrestling. I mean, I'm pro all wrestling.
I am too. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, go. You can go ahead.
Well, see, and for me, from my perspective, I have a black belt in Taekwondo, and when I was like going up in the ranks to get my belts, I'd have to spar with women, and some of them were on my level, others were leagues ahead of me, and it made me look like a chump. So, from that aspect, I don't have a problem with intergender wrestling because in other sports like that, it happens. Now I know in like professional, like in mixed martial arts and boxing, they don't have men fighting women, but like it can happen. Women can be better than men in fighting, and like we have it in movies, we have it in television. Like, why not? It's not the same thing as domestic violence. Like people are like, it's almost like condoning domestic violence. No, like again, like everyone, like if people on Twitter have said, one is consent, the other one is abuse.
Yeah.
And like in the parameters of wrestling, like hell, even in the match, be like, all right, look, you're gonna wrestle, but there's no strikes to the face, yada yada. Like maybe add that stuff to the rules, and then when a heel does it, adds a little more extra heat to it, and that storytelling aspect. But
Wrestling is
I
wrestling.
I
Wrestling
hate
is
to say,
wrestling. That should be it. I
I,
mean, that's what it comes down to.
right. And I know, like, oh, it's wrestling. Who cares? Like, people have the thing, but like, no, it's wrestling. Like, it's entertainment. It's suspend your disbelief to a degree. Like,
That's a great comparison. Val Pancakes. If you can believe Rey Mysterio versus The Big Show, you can believe Chris Statlander versus Orange Cassidy.
Absolutely.
wholeheartedly, yeah. Like, no one. I don't remember anybody getting up in arms about China, and everyone throws in, oh well, but she was like really tall and super muscular. But okay, regardless, her against fucking Mark Henry, there's still the big size disparity. But still, she's gonna whoop his ass. And they're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, China just beat the crap out of this guy, or like whoever. Like,
Yeah, there was definitely a time in some of these past pay-per-views we've seen that where
Yeah.
some of the women have been featured prominently in men's matches as well, and it almost feels like we've gone backwards. And not that there's any problem with trying to set a standard and have really good competitive women's wrestling. I don't think any of us would disagree with that. That is
yeah,
a great thing, and women's wrestling has come a long way, and it's gotten really fucking good. That being said, though, to make that separation and be like, well, now because we have this legitimate women's product, we don't need the mixing of the two. It's like, dude, this isn't like professional sports,
yeah.
where we make that separation.
Like,
You have the chance to actually keep that and make that compelling.
yeah, it's story fighting. And like, I know it's not like the like boxing or UFC, but we can still have that in this world, in the world of pro wrestling, have women fight men, and you can still tell a good story. Like,
Sure.
it can still be competitive. It can, I don't know. It's just, I don't understand. I understand, like, oh, it's this size disparity type of thing. I get where they're coming from and why they're saying why their argument is, but like, again, I'm a guy and I fought a lady who was like an inch or two smaller than me, and freaking she lit me up and like beat me at every turn, and I'm like, I'm bigger than her, stronger than her, and she managed to use that against me. And
Interestingly enough, though, because I always, when I talk about intergender wrestling, I like to talk about Lucha Underground.
yeah,
And I'm also of the equality standard to say that a lot of times we do these intergender wrestling matches, and sometimes we don't make it one-sided enough. Like, it's like, oh, this is a very competitive match, but you look back at like Sexy Star in Lucha Underground going up
yeah,
against somebody like Mil Muertes, and it's like, okay, if you get caught by Mil Muertes, you're going to die. And then what happens? She gets caught by Mil Muertes, she gets absolutely annihilated, and then the match is over. Again, wrestling match with a story that's based around consent, but
yeah,
interesting to keep, like, to constantly play with the sides, constantly be like, this match can be competitive, this match can be a squash. Sometimes on the other side it will be a squash. Like, the woman will get such a heads up on the guy that it's just over, and it's just like, what the hell just happened?
as a wrestler who's partaken in squash matches, and one of them being like a pretty much squash intergender match, like, I tried to throw everything at her and she just whooped my ass. It was what it was.
The
Scared the shit out of me.
the chat would like to see you wrestle Awesome Kong.
Bring it. Why not? I will run away. I will make her winded eventually. Try to do what I can. But no, legit, like, I'm gonna say this. Actually, one of my like dream matches is to wrestle Kylie Ray. I've seen a lot of her stuff and her intergender wrestling, and like, she's a phenomenal wrestler. That would be somebody I would want to wrestle. So hopefully I put it out there in the ether. Maybe it'll happen. Cause like,
We're gonna make it happen.
Her,
So go out
We're gonna
there,
make it happen.
go send it out there. Everybody watching right now, tweet it Kylie. Let her know that Uprising champion, JC Vega, has challenged her.
Yes. You know what? Shit. I will do a step further. Do that and tell them I will put up my belt. I might have to actually put that out there myself and be like, Kylie Ray, got the Uprising Championship. You
You've
got
heard it here.
gold, right? Maybe somewhere. Let's put title for title or come for my gold.
Let's
Why
go
not?
for it.
Brittany, I know we don't get along, but make it happen, right? Her, I would wrestle her. Wrestle Lindsay Snow. I'll wrestle whoever. I don't care. Give me Silva, Bigfoot Silva. I don't care. Anderson Silva. Give me a Silva. I'll fight him. Morphin and Chael Sonnen there, dude. Actually, you know
Oh,
that's
man.
random aside, random other fantasy dream match. I want to wrestle Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
The promo battle alone, like the dude interviews in UFC were tremendous.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, go keep going.
He was like, for me, like he was like MMA's top heel. Like MMA doesn't have heel. Well, I guess they do in a sense. Like, oh, I don't like this guy, fuck him. But like, the dude lost the fight to Anderson Silva, yet still came out for his next fight at the press conference with a championship belt and proclaimed himself the UFC middleweight champion. Like, fucking brilliant. I wish he would have after that fight crossed over into pro wrestling.
It was, I mean, that's, I think, one of the greatest when he, before they had, what was that? The first match, what was it? He tapped at the very end of it or whatever.
Yeah, it was our first fight with Anderson Silva.
And then I think he goes away and then he comes back and he has a fight. And wasn't that the promo where he's like, Anderson Silva, you absolutely suck.
Oh.
Or was that the first? Was that, or was that before their
one.
first fight? Golly, Dad, that's like one of the best UFC interviews ever. Because it's like, here's Joe Rogan. Here, tell us about what you think about the match. And it's like, I don't care about the match. Anderson Silva, you suck. And have you seen that promo before, Chris?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my gosh,
Dude, it
is a wrestling promo, straight up. That is how it sounds.
Legit. I have studied Chael Sonnen interviews for like things I could pull that I could use as a character. Like, he's absolutely brilliant. Like, that's why, like, he missed his fucking calling. He should have, like, I know he said he went to the power plant when WCW was around and tried to get in wrestling, but like, he should have. WWE he should start trying to, even in his 40s, he would still be a hell of a pro wrestler.
There's plenty of good wrestlers over the 40s. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, even as a mouthpiece, hell, like fucking A. Chael Sonnen, if you somehow get a hold of this, if someone's recording this stream that's not one of us, Chael, be my manager.
Oh, here we go.
I'm a great talker. I can pontificate with the best of them, but Chael, be my manager. That's two things we can do on social media. Get me a match with Kylie Ray. Get Chael Sonnen to be my manager.
2 tweets that everyone in the chat will need to send out today.
We need to make that a thing. Get the groundswell. Chael for JC's manager. Manage JC. But
let me type his name in chat for the people that don't know how to spell it.
But he was ridiculous. You are one of those, like, oh, man, I'm blanking on it. You are an immigrant from Brazil. I am a gangster from America. Are you sure you want to play this game? I'll grab a night vision goggles at the back of Soldier Fortune magazine and climb in through your window. I'll climb up to your room. I'll cut the wires to the house. Cut the lights. Get into your bedroom. Take photos of you and practicing your jujitsu with the Nogueira brothers. I'll post it online. Password not required. Username not required. That is how you threaten somebody. Like, dude was ridiculous with his promos. Look, if you want to have a tantalizing conversation with Anderson Silva, just talk to my shoe. Like, oh my god. The greatest wrestling promo who wasn't a wrestler.
Yeah, and Dana White, he loves guys like that.
Anybody
anybody that drums up so much support for any given fight, I mean, the fight is selling itself when they talk that much shit.
Like that's how he got the fight pretty much with John Jones. And John Jones was like, well, I mean, I don't really. He's a great wrestler, but I don't think he deserves it because he hasn't put wins together. It's his mouth. I'm like, but people are paying to see it. I didn't pay to watch you. I wanted to watch because I wanted to see what would happen. And that fight, oh my god, I really wish in that fight though, the referee would have solved John Jones's broken toe. Because oh my god, could you imagine? Could you imagine how Chael would have Chael's like, I like the champ is here, threw the mic down. All the press after that for the rematch. Oh my god. He would be like, I beat John Jones. John Jones is so great. He would have gotten so much under John Jones's skin. It would have been hysterical.
Oh my god, don't go watch that toe injury. It's horrific.
Even if it would have ended how the first fight would have gone, oh my god, I would just love the build up because Chael would have been like, yeah, I beat John Jones. I'm rough and tough. He couldn't handle the man from West Oregon. Like,
I low key love some MMA, man. It's fun to watch.
I'm a filthy casual when it comes to MMA. Like, I'll watch, like, if it's Connor, if it is John Jones, if it's people like that, I'll watch. Like,
I agree, and I've got turned that corner with Masvidal as well. He's great.
He's a character. He's a pretty good fighter. Like, everyone's like, oh, he's a journeyman fighter, but like, not getting Ben Askren out the way he did, man, that helped catapult him into a new stratosphere. And like him in that fight with Nate Diaz,
yeah,
that was some shit. I want them to run it back again. I want that BMF title to be defended too. They're like, oh, it's a one-off. Come on, man.
Well, they shouldn't have. They should have let Nate Diaz keep going. I don't think it would have changed the outcome. But like, he's like, I mean, it's Nate Diaz. He's like, I'm bleeding. Who cares? I bleed all the time. Fight. Yeah.
Like, the New York Athletic Commission was for MMA because I know it's fairly new there because they just made it legal. But like, yeah, like, dude bleeds. He's like, his skin's just, it is what it is, man. Wasn't even that bad of a cut from the look, but.
Well, we were talking about that on the last podcast because we were talking about ECW Heatwave, 1998, and I was talking about like in the same way that some of these MMA fighters have like lots of scar tissue, so it's easy for them to get cut open again. We're talking about Sandman and how Sandman at the beginning of this fight pops open a beer, drinks the beer, takes the can, hits himself like 2 times. Yeah, bleeding all over the place. And it's because he's like cut himself like legit or bladed so many times in like the same area on his head that all it takes is like a little pop and then you're whoosh.
And the amount of times he's probably bashed himself in the head with like the aluminum and like that shit'll cut you too.
Yeah.
Like who else was on that card that the Heatwave? Like I recently went through an ECW pay-per-view binge.
So you had like so there were a couple different fights. So like the last fight with Sandman, it was like Sandman and Tommy Dreamer and Spike Dudley against Big Dick Dudley, Devon Dudley, and oh my God, as I'm losing Bubba Ray.
Yeah.
You had another match that was Sabu and Rob Van Dam going against. Oh God, we just watched this and I'm losing these fights already.
Shinzaki, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Hayabusa,
yeah.
Was it Hayabusa and?
That's why I forgot it because their names.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so that it was a really solid card.
So that was that card. Like I made the mistake of trying to binge watch them back to back, like not all in a day, but like I watched them so much that the cards kind of blurred for me. It was for me like watching ECW. Like I was a small child when ECW was at its prime, and around. But like it was so weird watching the latter ones because like there was not many stars. There wasn't any stars I don't think left like towards the last 3 pay-per-views. And everyone's like, you need to watch the hardcore TVs, because that really more encapsulates ECW than watching the pay-per-views.
Well, yeah, because you see guys like Eddie Guerrero going through the ranks in ECW. You see guys like Chris Benoit going through the ranks of ECW. Like there are matches like, and this was before, he had the head gimmick and stuff like that. But like some of the matches that Al Snow went through, like when he in his younger years, were really good. When Sabu was first coming in, when Taz was not like Taz, but he was actually Tasmanian, like
I've actually
Devil
started
or whatever.
watching like the hardcore TVs from like around. I started the night that Shane threw down the belt, and I'm like watching that. So I was like, they just showed in the last episode I watched Chris Benoit throwing Sabu over, and Sabu just landing on his neck, and like the next match he's wrestling with a fucking neck brace on.
Sabu's crazy, man.
It's also hilarious. Like, oh, the shooter, Dean Malenko, he's a real guy. Like that gimmick, and it's interesting watching that, and especially like you said, Taz before he was Taz.
Yeah. Well, shit, if you go all the way to the beginning of the WWE archives, like the very first episode, I think, is like they're doing a promo or like a little vignette or something for Sandman, and Sandman is a surfer.
Yeah.
He used to have a surfer gimmick.
I saw a clip of that. The name now makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
So why is he just called the Sandman? But if he was a surfer dude.
Yeah, he was a surfer dude.
Makes all the sense in the world. That's hysterical.
And then you have like they're in like a high school gymnasium like recording and stuff like that. Like that's like, I mean it at its roots, but that was before it was extreme, and it was like East Coast.
Was it
wrestling.
still? That was, I think, was that also before Paul Heyman took over the book, so to speak? Like
the name doesn't change right away. So
I know that, but I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't know how. I know Paul Heyman comes in, but I didn't know how far into it like he was there.
Gosh, I can't 100% remember from when I had started watching it from front to back. But I mean, he definitely shows up at some point, and he's managing a few people like he's always done.
I would imagine you didn't take the book right off the bat, because like I know '94 at the end of it, that's when he definitely takes over, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Like I wish the network though would also have like the original music too, because like the dub overs are just atrocious.
Yeah.
It's like I get it, you don't want to pay out the rights fees for it, but it's like, can you do it? Like it's also weird, like watching Nitro back from like '97, and Voodoo Child is playing, but instead they play the NWO theme song, and like Hogan's coming out air guitar, but it's like I know right here is Voodoo Child, especially when he's like gesturing and singing the song. Mm-hmm. Like him and Robin are coming out with cigars. I'm like, okay, well I know the NWO music doesn't play. Like, can y'all not just pay the estate for that, please? For the sake of nostalgia and.
Nostalgia is dead, JC. No nostalgia for us.
You say nostalgia's dead, but they fucking keep bringing Goldberg out to try to get the nostalgia.
Oh, believe me, I will rant about this all day long.
Oh, okay, no, sorry, I'll let you finish.
I'm just saying, like I've always been a big believer in believing your young and upcoming wrestlers.
Right.
And Vince McMahon, if you constantly look around a room of young people and say there are no stars here, yet you don't try to develop one, shut your fucking mouth. Like,
yeah, I mean, like for me, like Cesaro should be at this point a multi-time world heavyweight champion. Like, how could you not make, for just off the skill alone, like the dude, not to mention the dude speaks 7 languages, so therefore you already have an ambassador there for like to go to these different countries and be able to speak their native language and promote like him. Ricochet should have a better shot on the card. I get, like, I know not everybody, well, you gotta have mic skills, but like I'm pretty sure Bret the Hitman Hart made a pretty damn good career for himself, not being that great on the mic.
Yeah. There's
Like,
plenty of wrestlers that aren't good on the mic that have gotten plenty of a push.
and like,
I mean, hell, they pushed Roman Reigns to the moon, and guess what? It took him a long time to even get reasonable on the mic.
Sid Vicious wasn't even a great promo. Sid Vicious had intent, and he had like personality behind it, but like,
That's the best outtake ever when he's doing a promo and he's like, "Oh, I gotta start over. This is live, buddy." VG.
No, my favorite quote from him is the whole, and you know that I have half the brain that you do. And I remember when he said, I distinctly remember as a kid live watching that, and I'm like, did you just call yourself an idiot? Like, that's not good. It's not a good thing, man. You just, and it's even better, they point the camera to Hall and Nash, who realized he said he was stupid, and they're just making fun of him, and it's like, oh my god, like, come on.
Bury yourself.
You push guys like him, like Roman. I think Roman would be a better character if they let Roman be Roman. Like, in his interviews, he's so chill. Like, he does kind of have, not to compare him though, but like he does similar have that sort of low-key confidence of The Rock. He's not like boisterous and being like, I'm the great one. Like, doesn't have that, but he does have that confidence of like, yeah, like, I'm fucking good at what I do. I'll kick your ass, no problem. If they would have like interject that cool like Roman, I want to have a beer with that guy in his on-screen personality, he'd be over.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'll give AEW praise. They're like, oh, they have all these old guys. So I'm like, they have Arn Anderson as a manager, as a coach. Like, all right, that's a fine role for him. They have Tully Blanchard as a mouthpiece. They have Taz. Like, I like how they're using the older talent. Like, Chris Jericho was world champ, but like, he had a match with Scorpio Sky, who took him to like the limit, and he still lost, but he had to use a Judas effect. Pineapple Pete, like, he get a small thing, and it's like, all right, this guy's kicking my ass. I gotta put him down with the Judas effect.
Mm-hmm.
Jungle Boy went 10 minutes with Jericho. Like, that's a way to build your stars. Like, and Jungle Boy doesn't have to say much. Jungle Boy's over.
Yeah.
Like, you can have hell, Orange Cassidy is the most over wrestler on the planet, and all he does is a thumbs up. Not even a full thumbs up. Like, I still think, like, I get promos, and like, I'm a promo guy. I'm a character guy. Promos are essential to a package, but like, you can be over and not have to say a thing.
Yeah, or say very little. I mean, I think Shinsuke's been able to get himself over time and time again without having to say very much.
And like that's why, like, again, like, Vince McMahon is a visionary, and I respect him for everything he's done. But like, to say, well, you need to have mic skills in order to be my top guy. Well, your champion for a long while was Brock Lesnar, and he is a guy who speaks for him.
Mm-hmm.
So why?
Yeah, like, but that's the thing. His mic skills really aren't that bad, though. You remember, like, the Brock Lesnar of old could actually talk on a mic okay. I mean, he wasn't like the best, but he wasn't awful either.
Him and UFC, though, like, again, like, when you just let Brock be Brock, but Brock doesn't like talking, so like, I get it. And like, even for in the wrestling context for that character, like, he's menacing enough where he doesn't have to say a damn thing. And it's like, I'm just here to beat your ass, and this Jewish guy over here with who's receding hairlines there speak for me. Like, it's fine. Like, it's just that weird double standard, and like the whole thing of like Cesaro not being, he doesn't connect with the audience. When at WrestleMania 30, I know because I was there, that crowd was like that pop, and like even watching it back on the network, that pop, like, even the sound there doesn't do it justice to how loud and insane everybody went when he won. Like, dude should be on a Bret Hart's-esque level of like, okay, like he can talk somewhat, but like his bread and butter is wrestling. He's one of the best wrestlers we have. Like,
Yeah, preaching to the choir, man. Cesaro's to me is the one,
I
like
could
the
go
most
on.
underrated guy out there that needs to get the push. That I feel like he's gonna get it eventually, but it seems so criminal
I
that it's
feel
taking this long.
I feel like, and I feel he needs to make the jump, and and everyone's gonna be annoyed with me saying that probably. Well, not everybody, but I'm sure a portion like not
Half.
everybody needs to go to AEW. Yes and no, but like if there's a guy who like Tony Khan needs to scoop up when that contract comes up and there's negotiations on the table, that would be the guy.
Yep.
Him, Adam Cole, like even Cedric and like Ricochet. Could you imagine? Oh my god!
All these underused guys.
There might have been a match, but like Ricochet versus Jungle Boy. That would
Wow.
be gangbusters.
Yeah.
Whether on pay-per-view or a Dynamite, like
It's fun
I
to
could
think
see
about
that.
those dream matches like that. Yeah. If guys would get away from their two, wherever they would go. Go anywhere. Go to the Independence, go wherever, but
I don't know if Ricochet has like a 5-year deal, but I'm just going to their number. 2023, all out, Ricochet versus Jungle Boy for the TNT Championship or whatever. Like the matchups they would have: Cesaro versus MJF, Cesaro versus Cody,
jeez.
Cesaro versus Kenny Omega could be an Okada Omega level match in my view. Like I don't know, like it's so bad, and like I know a lot of those guys are working their ass off in the WWE, but like they need to look around and realize that there's something wrong with our system. If we're always looking for, well, we have nobody, we need to go to Austin. We need a Triple H. We need a Shawn Michaels. We need like those guys. Like look around and like, do we need to pull the reins back a little bit and just like get the bullet points? Like, I mean, it worked in the 80s and the 90s. Like let them be them. Like that's as like for me, like no one can tell me how to be me. Like of the character that I in my mind portray. Like give me the situation you want, and I will fit myself into that template you need.
But then I'll do my way.
It puts a good onus on you, where it's like
Yeah.
you have to make the character that you developed work.
Right.
Instead of here, let me give you kind of this maybe not great idea. And yes, there are some guys that can go out there and take a really shitty idea and really turn it into something good. But that can't always be your argument in a major wrestling promotion like that. Like if you just give everybody garbage, sometimes it's always just going to be garbage no matter what.
Dude, another dude I will say who's like they've missed the mark on, Shelton Benjamin.
Years and years and years and years and years. I mean, he's kind of. I mean, I'm not opposed to the way that they're using him right now.
No, like him with MVP like is phenomenal in that group, in that BDC style group. But like, oh my god, they missed an opportunity. Like in 05, like come on, you have him beat Triple H. You have him go hold for hold with Shawn Michaels, and it took a surprise super kick. To beat him.
Amazing
Like,
super kick.
That spot, like, oh my god, that whole match, like him against Angle too, like he goes toe to toe with Angle because they're both amateur wrestlers. Like, come on, and like you could have given him Paul Heyman. The connection's there. Like, hey, I managed Brock Lesnar, and you know what? Shelton used to team with Brock, so like I'm giving him my start. Like, he could have been a world champ. He could have been gangbusters for them, in my opinion. People might not agree. Like,
no, I think it's accurate.
He could have at least, like, even if he doesn't win the title, he could at least had like contenders, like number one contenderships. Like Dolph Ziggler too is another guy who they kind of just having this weird role of like, oh, he's up there but not there, and like.
Yeah, he's always just hanging around. Yeah.
And like I'm kind of mad at him too, because like I get it in a respect, because if they were throwing the money at him or throwing the money at me, they were throwing at him, I would maybe consider signing. But like after years and years of you like complaining about like, oh, I'm this opportunity, this thing sucks, I need to be given a chance. Like I really wish he would have gone off elsewhere to just test the water, like maybe for a year, because like the WWE would take it back. Hell, especially when they were doing the brand split. Like if you would have left right before then, like gone to New Japan and had an Okada match or a match with Jay Lethal and Ring of Honor or whoever. Like, but like, so on that vein, what do y'all think of that whole Raw Underground thing?
I hated it personally, but that is just me, maybe.
I'll give it a time.
My main issue with it is it feels so forced. It almost feels like, hey, we listened to a bunch of fans and now we're going to rush to put something together to achieve that, versus, hey, let's take a little time, flesh this out, let it develop. And that's my issue with, actually, I just defined my issue with almost every single storyline in WWE. Long term, like, everything's always based on money and ratings. And while I understand that, I also am a firm believer that if you take the time to put in really good stories, you will effectively make your money no matter what. Like, you're gonna get it.
Oh, for me, I haven't watched it fully yet, but I find the concept interesting. I just like you said, I wish they would have taken their time with it. And hell, I've always heard that Shane always had these ideas and had the idea for like putting ECW on the website and like having a guerrilla style production to it. Like, if I don't know if he was part of that choice or if they're like, we need to have somebody present it here, Shane.
Shane will
You're
do
the
it,
guy.
yeah.
But like,
my pitch to them would have been, instead of doing underground, they should have done like kind of what GCW did and do backyard wrestling. You still have, like, off in the distant, like, not in camera's view, you still have everybody there for safety, like really focused on safety, but add a hardcore edge to the last hour of your show, and whoever wants to be involved can be involved. If you don't want to be involved, you don't have to be involved. But I bet you there are some wrestlers that they have that would jump at the opportunity to be like, this is something that could, propel me right along. I think going a little more hardcore is always a good thing from a WWE standpoint, because their product is so vanilla so much of the time.
Like, I really wish they would have taken that, like, even if they were going to go with what they were doing now with Shane being like running this underground, because I feel like him being this like, I want to be a cool eccentric billionaire dude. I feel like he would do that, but like have him be like, all right, Vince, like I've told you before, the product is in shambles, and I tried to get on board, and we all are standing in the ring going, we're gonna listen to you, the people.
They don't.
You haven't listened. I'm going to start doing my own thing. And hey, guys, whoever wants to come with me can come. Also, by the way, Vince, USA kind of gave me your last hour of television on Raw. Like, could have run it like that and have it weeks build up. Like, I don't know. Just like, have a whole different production team. That's another thing, too, I really don't like about WWE's production. Like, everything looks the same.
Always.
SmackDown, Raw, shot the same. They look the same staging, same everything. Like, even NXT to a degree. Well, I don't know if Kevin Dunn's really a part of that one, but like it still kind of has all that same feel. And it's just like, if you want these two,
I was gonna say, if you think about it, it's just one big machine.
yeah.
The WWE is one machine, and it's not just in the way that they develop wrestlers and they push wrestlers. It's the way they develop storylines, scripts. It's the way they develop sets. It's the way they stage every show that they've ever done. It's always the same, always.
And like, well, I agree. A formula can work, and like they have some of the best production in the world, but just y'all can do so much better, man. Like, I really wish if Vince would have really like sat back and let actually Eric or Paul try to do their visions with the different crews and all that, like how different and how better could things have been? And maybe it would have not been great, but at least you tried something. maybe it would have piqued everybody's interest instead of being like, you're in this position, but it's still me controlling it, and you're gonna do what I want you to do. But goddamn it, pal, it's not working. It's you. You're the problem. Bruce, you're gonna take over both shows. It's just like, and I hate to do that because again, I'm trying. I want to get a job eventually, but it is
there's
what it is.
there's also a lot of options out there, which is why it's actually a great time for wrestling right now. I mean,
Exactly.
there's
And,
actually a lot of options for a person like you and for us to watch as well.
True, exactly, and that's why I say like some people around me and like behind the scenes scoff at me when I say Dynamite is one of the better wrestling shows I watch in a week. Like, granted, there are some things that could be better than others. Like, they could have done certain things better, but some shows, it's like, all right, we're gonna start with the video package, and then we're gonna go to a promo, or we're gonna just go straight into a match. The guy's already in the ring. Let's go. Like, they change it up.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. It's like, I don't know what's going to come on first. Like, with WWE shows, it's like, all right, the champ or Triple H is going to come out and cut a 45-minute promo. It's going to lead to a match. We're going to go to commercial. That match is going to be in progress. All right, we're going to go to this backstage segment of this thing that, like, this camera really shouldn't be here to see, but we're going to act like the camera's not here and talk. And then later on, how did you know this was happening? Like,
see, that's why I've been
same
really,
thing.
that's why I've really been enjoying Impact. I feel like Impact is doing a lot of different stuff week to week, and to me, I mean, and this we could agree to disagree. Impact is the best thing every week.
I haven't been able to watch Impact because I don't have cable, but I've heard good things. And like,
you can watch on Twitch.
Yeah, you can watch it on Twitch.
You can watch Impact on Twitch on Tuesday nights. And I believe Wrestle House is the best thing on wrestling television right now.
All right, so I've seen like the concept, or like I've seen them talk about it, but like, what is like? Explain to me. What is it? Just like them like doing Big Brother style? Real
world meets Impact Wrestling.
And the only reason that they're in there is because Rosemary wants to have sex with what's his name? What's that guy's name? The Ty Valkyrie's assistant.
I have to look because I forget his name because he's a secondary character.
Yeah, I don't watch Impact, so I'm out of the loop on that one. I try to find clips of the North because I love the North.
Yes,
they're really good.
Yes.
Ethan Page is tremendous on the mic. He's a great wrestler, and I love the dichotomy there of like Alexander. I really want them to have that match with FTR. Like,
that'd be amazing.
Promotional, or if like FTR go to Impact, which I'd like the other way around. But also, speaking of jobs, Tony Khan, I appreciate what you're doing in the industry. You know, you run a fine organization. Full Hand's also great. Your knowledge of wrestling is phenomenal. And if you just so happen to have like a couple of thousand or so lying around that you just want to give to a millennial who's also snarky, you know, I'd hate to take money is not something I aspire for, but I would gladly take it. Or Impact if you needed another spot or needed a guy for the Wrestle House. I'm available.
That'd be funny if you just showed up. If you just showed up at the Wrestle House with your coffee cup in hand.
I'm not too proud to beg, guys. You know, I'm an independent wrestler, and as the indies are fun. However, the payout could be a little better. I'm just shit. I don't. Help me help you. I'll even fetch the coffee. There we go. I'll bring you a coffee. Just give me a job. Triple H, if you like some ideas when Vince is not around, I got something in the tuck there. This is just divulge and JC Vega trying to get a job.
That's all right.
That'd be a great media headline. JC Vega begging for a job.
Oh, that hey, no, any news is good news on social media nowadays, right? As long as it's not
Right?
controversial, you're good.
Yeah, like
All press is
And
good
it's like-
press.
look at him begging for a job. You may not do it publicly, but damn it, I see you in the DMs trying to get the job.
Well, we
I've
got
seen
already
other-
tweets out there. I see the tweets out there
I've
for
seen-
Kylie already.
I've seen some of you wrestlers out there begging Cody to pick you for the TNT Open Challenge who aren't on the level of a warhorse. You're on the bottom of the Florida independent scene going, I'm a 16, 17-year veteran. Who deserves it to me? Even though 12 people know me, I see you, so don't you dare come to me and tell me that I shouldn't be asking for a job.
Oh,
Love it, man. Love it.
Ugh.
I think we're winding down, Jimmy.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, we've been on it for a while, and
We have.
I gotta eat, I gotta get to the gym, I gotta do other.
Well, let's do the
Other
merch. Let's do the
things.
merch plug first. First, I'll do the Bald Monkeys merch plug. We got stickers. We got shirts. We got a YouTube page. If you don't follow us on the YouTube page. If follow all our social medias. The JC Vega has been with us for these 3 hours and 41 minutes.
JC Vega, the Uprising Champion, the Elevate Champion, not the Uprising Champion. The Elevate title is important because I hold it. It's the most prestigious title. I just need to remind you of that. If anything take away from this day, to remind Brittany or anybody else around, I am the champion of Elevate Pro.
We're gonna get him a match with Kylie Ray. That's going to happen.
Get me a match with Kylie Ray.
We will trace that back to the moment on this live stream
This live stream
that we drummed up support and we made it happen.
I will credit everyone except for Jake.
Single stuffers unite.
Single Stuffers Unite.
Well, I'm gonna play the promised video that I promised all the Twitch streamers from last week of me ranting. If you didn't see our interview with JC Vega, go check it out. Brittany tried to shut us down, but we wouldn't allow it. Here is the outtake from that episode, and at the end of that, we'll probably sign off. So I appreciate everyone sticking around and chatting. We'll be back again next week. Jimmy, do we know the topic for next week yet?
No, I do need a pay-per-view from JC Vega, though. You can think about it. Think about a good pay-per-view for us to watch.
Any pay-per-view, just anything.
I mean, preferably something we could easily access. But
Okay,
yeah.
very naturally, yes.
Yeah.
So not just exclusive to, like, the WB network or anything like.
Doesn't
Just,
doesn't have to be WCW network. I mean, our WCW network.
Oh
WW.
could you hold
That would have been amazing.
dude? Let's hang on before you sign off or before you put that video up. Let's hypothesize. Let's go into a world where WCW did not go out of business. Could you imagine what that world would look like right now?
It'd be much better for wrestling.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think
Maybe.
so.
Would Eric Bischoff and Fuchsia Media be running WCW? Where would they be? What would have happened to The Rock? Could you imagine WCW just taking The Rock and just making him a jabroni? And doing to him what they did to Booker T and those guys? What about Stone Cold? What would have happened to Stone Cold?
Oh, so you're okay. So you're because you said what if WCW still existed, but you're talking about what if they won the war? What
Well,
if they?
that too, but what in the lens of today? What would that have looked like? Who would have been the top stars of WCW? I mean, would it AEW exist if there was a WCW? Or would it be
Bizarro
an
world.
alternative?
Yeah.
If WCW had taken out WWE, then I think AEW would still exist, or something of that nature.
Yeah, like,
because if it's just one basically like monopolizing wrestling promotion
right,
force
and
within
that-
the
and that
country, it's
aspect. But like, oh my God, like Sean O'Hara could have been the world champion by 2004.
Sean O'Hare.
Probably. I mean, you can't.
I was
wrong
rooting.
to say.
I was always rooting for Glacier. I mean, that was my dude.
Could you imagine? Oh my God, a 24/7 WCW title with Glacier just running around as the champion.
Oh my gosh.
But like, yeah, would AJ Styles have been like Mr. WCW? I mean, oh my God, the feud of 2002 would have been Air Paris versus AJ Styles.
It definitely
oh
would have
my
been
God,
a different thing.
My mind has just been blown. Like the idea of like the WCW network with the WCW contents, Starrcade 2006 with Eddie Guerrero versus maybe Brock Lesnar. I don't know. Like, what would that look like?
Still Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, same match, right? Nothing
Like,
changed
what
at
would
that
the
moment.
timeline look like? Like, my God, you've just blown my mind of just thinking about it. Would Shane McMahon still own WCW?
Shane McMahon.
Would Vince McMahon invade or like have like a cameo? I am the general manager of WCW Nitro.
Man.
Bring me? You know what? Give me 2 months, and I will like plot out like a year summary of year to year. We should bring me back and have this discussion.
All right, it's on the calendar.
Let's do it. Make it happen.
Bizarro timeline with JC Vega.
Oh my God! Like you shattered me. I can't continue on with my day. Starrcade 2021 would have featured, Starrcade 2020 would have featured a 2-night extravaganza with the Z-Man going one-on-one with Dolph Ziggler or something. Oh my. We'll just go that out of the box with that one. Just bring back old WCW cat. The Fabulous Freebirds take on the Shield because, and Bizarro in 2020, the Shield was a thing in WCW.
Mm-hmm.
Still.
Just translate, take all the good stuff from WWE and just make it that. My God, sorry, I'm rambling on. Like you've put me down this web of like, what would that look like? That'd be a weird world.
Well, you have 2 months. You got 2 months. And we'll be calling you back.
God, you think I'm joking? My madman self is gonna have late nights like thinking about what would that look like for the year. And I will send you a document. It's gonna be like 130 pages.
We'll just scroll it. We won't even. We'll literally. That will be the stream. Is like Star Wars style, just scrolling the text the whole way through.
Yes. All right. So enough from me. I'm shutting up now. This limited highball has tied me through for 3 hours. I didn't even know we were on for 3 hours.
3 hours and 48 minutes.
Almost 4 hours.
Thank you, gents, for having me aboard.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
JC.
appreciated it. I love talking music with you guys. I will gladly come on again if you ever want me. And they're like, I'm taking this guy back.
No, we appreciate you, JC. We always love talking.
Good times.
Thanks, chat.
I appreciate it.
Hang in there. I'm gonna play this. Clip of us yelling at everybody after JC got knocked off, and we'll talk again soon, everybody.
Peace.
If I can move it over here and do what I want to do.
God, now like I'm broken. I'm a broken man.
The broken.
I don't know what else to say.
The
don't know.
WCW.
I'm flabbergasted.
Like,
I can't believe
Joe N-O-Y-E.
I can't believe that Brittany would do this to us.
Brittany,
I mean,
I'm hurt. We're gonna have you back on and have a discussion about this.
I agree. Like, I'm even checking my email just to see like what's going on.
I'm hurt. After we stirred the pot. And now
We
the pot's been
bonded.
stirred.
We bonded.
It's either that or it's you single stuff Oreo people out there. You single stuff Oreo people out there are trying to take us down because we're the ones that are right. You know we're right. But you're bonding together to talk about how it's more fit to eat single stuff Oreos. We're gonna have that, fit body, so you don't want double stuffed Oreos. Come on,
Bastards.
come on.
Don't make the beast Chaz O'Malley come back out of retirement. Don't do it.
And if I remembered my wrestling name, I would say it, and I would say me too.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Bald Monkeys. You can also catch our interviews on WrestleJoy.com. Watch any of our other interviews or our roundtable podcasts at YouTube. Just search for The Bald Monkeys. And listen to the Bald Monkeys podcast on Apple iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.